This story began in the dynasty of Zhou, within the eastern area of Wuzhou. At the front entrance of Mirror Lake residence, Ari, a young woman filled with curiosity, approached a soldier stationed nearby, hoping to discover the whereabouts of young Master Meng Chuan. Ari then asked the soldier if he knew where Senior Meng Chuan was. The soldier replied that Senior Meng Chuan had not yet emerged. Listening to the soldier, Ari's anxiety grew as she questioned why Senior Meng Chuan hadn't appeared. She mentioned that despite his younger age, he had already entered the esteemed Mountain Water Pagoda and ranked among the top 22 in Mirror Lake residents. She also shared she was a female servant from the distinguished young family who had arrived specifically for Senior Meng Chuan. Ari couldn't help but feel envious of Master Meng Chuan's engagement to the miss from the prestigious Yun family. She then remarked that Senior Meng Chuan belonged to the influential Yang family from the east, while she considered herself of lower status. Ari expressed her admiration for Senior Meng Chuan, highlighting his kindness and willingness to teach. She contrasted his behavior with other seniors who showed little interest in engaging with them. Ari also added that she had heard the Yun family miss was a spoiled brat. Just then, a random soldier cautioned Ari not to gossip about such matters, warning her of potential consequences. All of a sudden, another soldier greeted Senior Meng Chuan as he approached, followed by Ari extending her own greeting. Meng Chuan then asked Ari why she had come. Ari responded that their Miss Qi Ping wanted to invite him for an outing to the East Mountain. Meng Chuan expressed his reservations, noting that it would require an overnight stay that will interfere with his cultivation training. He then suggested that Ari should inform Qi Ping to focus more on cultivation instead. Ari became frustrated and pleaded with Meng Chuan, saying their miss would be angry. She questioned the importance of cultivation, but Meng Chuan, irritated by the conversation, entered his home without further discussion. Inside, Meng Chuan asked one of his soldiers if his father was present. The soldier informed him that his father had just been called back by the main family. Meng Chuan then inquired about Qi Yue's whereabouts with the soldier. Replying to him, the soldier informed Meng Chuan that she was practicing archery at the training square. Meng Chuan then observed Qi Yue's impressive archery skills, leaving him impressed by her abilities. As her arrows soared through the air with remarkable precision, Meng Chuan found himself captivated by Qi Yue's unrivaled skill. Meng Chuan couldn't help but praise Qi Yue's exceptional archery skill, astounded by her ability to consistently hit bullseyes. As Qi Yue spotted Meng Chuan's return, she greeted him with a spirited exclamation. With a sigh, Meng Chuan expressed his genuine bewilderment, unable to fathom how Qi Yue, the seemingly invincible archer, effortlessly achieved such precision. Qi Yue, basking in the glow of his compliments, playfully brushed them off, insisting that he was only making her happier with his words. However, she couldn't resist playfully mentioning that if she hadn't been waiting for Meng Chuan, she would have spent her time practicing archery in the hall instead. Qi Yue then invited Meng Chuan to be her moving target, emphasizing the lack of excitement in shooting stationary targets. Listening to this, Meng Chuan's expression flickered with a mix of surprise and trepidation. He hesitated for a moment, but eventually agreed, knowing that Qi Yue's playful challenges always led to thrilling encounters. Qi Yue, with competitive spirit, quickly made preparations, swapping her arrows for ones without sharp tips. With a mischievous glint in Meng Chuan's eyes, he warned Qi Yue to focus, vowing to break his 7-star continuous fire technique. Qi Yue then braced herself, ready to face Meng Chuan's formidable skill. She knew she had to concentrate if she wanted to surpass his prowess. Their banter intensified as they readied their bows, both eager to prove their mettle in this friendly duel. Arrows soared through the air, their movements fluid and precise, as they engaged in a captivating clash. Qi Yue couldn't help but be impressed by Meng Chuan's resilience and determination. Their contest grew more intense, each arrow representing their unwavering spirit and fierce rivalry. The air crackled with excitement as they exchanged rapid shots, their skills on full display. However, in the midst of their spirited battle, fate intervened. Qi Yue's arrow found its mark, leaving Meng Chuan with a stinging reminder of the consequences of underestimating his opponent. Meng Chuan winced in pain and expressed a mix of surprise and admiration for Qi Yue's skill and precision. The intensity of their duel had left its mark on both of them, reminding them of the exhilaration and risks involved in their friendly competitions. Meng Chuan then expressed his frustration, stating that he still couldn't block Qi Yue's arrows. On the other hand, Qi Yue marveled at his defending skills, mentioning that even the elite individuals in the training residence couldn't defend against her 3 illusion arrows. Meng Chuan also acknowledged that she had managed to block 4 of his 5 great killing techniques that he had mastered since his childhood, emphasizing her strength. Qi Yue then responded to him with a laugh, appreciating Meng Chuan's flattery but insisting that shooting arrows was just a natural talent for her. She also mentioned that others in the same realm feared facing her offensive fire, as if it were an unstoppable force. Then, in a serious tone, Meng Chuan assured Qi Yue that he would always stand in front of her in a battle of life and death. Replying to him, Qi Yue mentioned that all invisible archers had protectors, implying that her protectors would have intercepted Meng Chuan's attacks and turned him into her target again. She playfully whispered that Meng Chuan might become her protector in the near future, eliciting a smile from her. Meng Chuan then acknowledged the high status of elite snipers in any faction and wondered if he was worthy of being Qi Yue's guardian. Qi Yue reassured him, expressing her belief in his abilities and emphasizing his greatness. She then shifted the topic by mentioning the upcoming summoning of all the students by the headmaster, speculating that it might be related to the Yuyang Palace's demon-slaying festival. Yuyang Palace's demon-slaying festival was an important event that took place every year in the Zhou dynasty. Meng Chuan then confirmed Qi Yue's suspicion, mentioning that Liyang Sanctuary had also made the announcement for the event. Qi Yue proudly shared that she was the only elite sniper among the top 10 remolding realm students in Liyang Sanctuary, securing a direct place for herself. Meng Chuan sighed, revealing that Jinghu Sanctuary had only 3 nominations available for the remolding realm students, meaning he would have to compete for a spot despite being one of the top 10 molding realm students in his sanctuary. Qi Yue then playfully encouraged him to work hard in order to secure his place. Meng Chuan expressed his concern for her safety during the festival, vowing not to let any demon get close to her. In a playful manner, he attempted to hit Qi Yue with his sword, but she skillfully dodged his attack. Meng Chuan then suggested continuing their training, to which Qi Yue teasingly questioned if he was that sore of a loser as he tried to attack her without informing her. Meng Chuan, with a hint of pride, claimed that he had never learned the word loser. Qi Yue, equally competitive, challenged him to see if he could catch up with her. On the other hand, in the Yun residence, Meng Chuan's fiancée, Yun Qingping, graciously offered a cup of tea to her father, Yun Fuan, encouraging him to have a taste. Her father then took a sip of the tea and commented that it was not bad. Just then, Yun Qingping's servant, Iri, hurriedly approached her. Concerned, Yun Qingping asked Ari to not run and inquired about the news. Ari informed her that young Lord Meng had conveyed that the Yuyang Palace's demon-slaying festival would commence in a month, and he would be engrossed in training, unable to accompany her. Yun Qingping expressed frustration listening to this news, exclaiming that Meng Chuan was once again choosing training over their time together. She criticized him for his single-minded focus on training. Ari added that Meng had even suggested that Yun Qingping should spend more time training. Yun Qingping's anger flared, finding it audacious for him to dictate her actions. Seeing her anger, her father interjected, remarking that from his perspective, Meng was right, and that Yun Qingping should prioritize training over leisure activities. Yun Qingping, still resentful, retorted that Meng was completely oblivious to her desires. She expressed her fondness for having fun and spending time with friends, but Meng Chuan preferred training, drawing, and solitude. She confessed that thoughts of her life after marriage made her feel restless. She then questioned how they could possibly stay together with such contrasting personalities. Her father chuckled, acknowledging Yun Qingping's lively nature. He suggested that being with someone capable of managing her was a positive trait. Yun Qingping, seeking a resolution, proposed discussing the possibility of breaking off the engagement with Meng Chuan. However, her father sternly warned her not to even entertain such thoughts. At that time, in the grand halls of the Yun residence, a somber conversation unfolded between Yun Qingping and her father. Yun Qingping's voice, trembling with emotion, questioned her father's insistence on her marrying Meng Chuan. Her father's expression, calm yet resolute, sought to justify his decision. He explained that Meng Chuan was highly regarded among the youth in the Dongning province's 5 great demon god clans, emphasizing that he was not a bad choice. However, Yun Qingping remained unconvinced, her voice filled with frustration and despair. She expressed her distaste for Meng Chuan, lamenting the fact that she had been betrothed to him since her full moon celebration. She doubted Meng Chuan's personality and feared the uncertainties of their future life together. She then exclaimed, marrying someone with whom she couldn't even hold a conversation seemed unbearable to her. Her words struck a chord within her father, stirring a surge of anger. With a forceful tap, he placed his teacup on the table, fixing his gaze sharply upon Yun Qingping. His response came sternly, his tone laced with irritation. Over the past 6 months, Yun Qingping had persistently requested the breaking of the engagement, and her father realized that he may have been too lenient with her. He took this opportunity to illuminate the situation. He explained that although the Yun clan belonged to the 5 great demon god clans, their numbers were limited, and their foundation was weak. He further explained that, on the other hand, the Meng clan boasted a long-standing history spanning thousands of years, with a multitude of members. Meng Chuan's father was poised to become the patriarch of their clan. In light of this, Yun Qingping's marriage to Meng Chuan carried significant meaning for their own clan's standing and prosperity. Seeking a glimmer of hope, Yun Qingping pointed out her grandfather's own status as a demon god, questioning why she couldn't be granted some freedom in her choices. However, her father retorted sharply, challenging her notion of freedom. He questioned whether freedom solely meant the ability to marry whoever one desired, implying that her perspective was limited. Unyielding, Yun Qingping stood her ground. She defended her desire to marry for love and questioned the necessity of sacrificing herself solely for the sake of their clan. Her father's actions and decisions weighed heavily upon her, and she couldn't help but express her disappointment and shame in him. Suddenly, then, her father's voice boomed with anger, silencing the room. He admonished Yun Qingping. He dismissed her longing for freedom as mere fantasies, comparing it to going out to play or eating a rare delicacy in the middle of winter at the expense of others' lives. He reminded her of the countless resources invested in her upbringing, the teachers, the personal guards, and the treasures, an immense financial burden for the clan. The weight of his words struck Yun Qingping, leaving her shocked and subdued. Her father then started to talk about Zhang Chong, a young man from the Zhang clan's branch family who showed interest in Yun Qingping. He derided Zhang Chong's audacity, suggesting that he should reflect upon his own worth before considering himself worthy of marrying his daughter. Yun Qingping, in an attempt to defend herself and Zhang Chong, began to speak, but her father dismissed her explanation abruptly, deeming it unnecessary. He made it clear that there was no need for further discussion. He warned Yun Qingping that if she were to bring shame upon the Yun and Meng clans, the consequences would be severe, not only for the guilty party but also for her, including the possibility of death. Fear gripped Yun Qingping as her father's words sank in. A chilling silence enveloped the room as she contemplated the gravity of her father's warning. Her heart filled with a mix of shock, fear, and uncertainty. He then acknowledged the reality of their situation, describing the marriage as a political arrangement. He reminded his daughter of their own marriage, which had been determined by her grandfather, leaving them with no say in the matter. He expressed that regardless of the boy's appearance or lack of talent, she would have to marry him. However, he mentioned that Meng Chuan was reputed to possess a good personality, implying that she should count herself fortunate in that regard. Her father, feeling a mix of determination and responsibility, issued a final warning to his daughter. He emphasized the importance of vigilance and advised her to watch over her future mistress, hinting at the challenges and potential dangers that lay ahead. Yun Qingping, filled with fear and sadness, couldn't hold back her tears. With tears streaming down her face, Yun Qingping could only sob. On the other hand, in the training ground of Mirror Lake residents, Qi Yue and Meng Chuan engaged in intense training, showcasing their unwavering perseverance. They were determined not to lose to anyone, pushing themselves beyond their limits. Unknown to them, 3 children observed their training from a distance, engaging in a conversation among themselves. Child 1 remarked that it was quite impressive to see the young master and Miss Qi Yue training again, and mentioned that it seemed they practiced together every day. Child 2 then chimed in, saying that the young master was known for his dedication and commitment to martial arts. Then, curiosity sparked among the children, and Child 3 questioned why Miss Qi Yue left her own household to join the Meng Chuan family. Child 1 responded, enlightening the others, by saying that Miss Qi Yue was the only daughter of Lord Liu Yabai, the younger brother of the Meng Chuan family's patriarch. They mentioned that she grew up alongside the young master, fostering a close relationship. Since then, Meng Chuan and Miss Qi Yue have formed a strong bond. Considering the future prospects of the 2 young individuals, Child 1 raised the question of what would happen between them. Replying to him, Child 2 dismissed the idea, saying that the young master already had a fiancée and Qi Yue is his childhood friend. This revelation surprised Child 3, who pondered further, asking about the Yun princess and her betrothal to the young master Meng Chuan. Child 2 clarified the situation, explaining that the princess's engagement was not purely for familial reasons. They mentioned that it was a strategic move for the Meng family to strengthen their position. They explained that since their early childhood, the young daughter of the Yun family was promised to the young master. They found it interesting that despite possessing a demon god, the Yun family was impatient. Child 1 then added that it seemed odd that a 100-years-old family desired to be on par with a 1,000-year-old family. As the children contemplated the complex relationships and potential futures, they were confused between Qi Yue, an endearing childhood companion, and Ping Qing, a captivating lady, the better partner for Meng Chuan. They found themselves drawn to both individuals, making it challenging to pick a favorite. However, their musings were abruptly interrupted by one of the children's fathers, who sternly reprimanded them, urging them to return to their own duties. Then the children dispersed, leaving their speculations behind, while the intertwined destinies of Meng Chuan and Qi Yue continued to unfold amidst the demanding and intricate web of family obligations and personal aspirations. During their intense sparring session, Meng Chuan expressed his frustration to Qi Yue. He recounted how his family had recognized his talent for the swift sword and enrolled him in the 8th courtyard of the Mirror Lake Temple. Under the guidance of Dean Gayu, at the age of 13, he learned the unique falling leaf sword technique and practiced it diligently. However, at 15 years old, he was still unable to master that move. Slicing through the air, Meng Chuan swung his sword with all his might, striking the wooden pole in a bold display of his skill. However, a tinge of dissatisfaction clouded his face as he examined the result. The cut was clean, no doubt, but it lacked the speed and finesse he desired. Resting his sword on the ground, he let out a deep sigh, his mind grappling with frustration. The burning question echoed in his thoughts that, when would he attain the level of mastery that would leave him truly satisfied with his every move? Meng Chuan wondered when he would uncover the secret behind the falling leaf sword technique and reach unity, as he has already hit the first major boundary of the skill. He then contemplated the stages of cultivation, which included foundation building, internal refining, essence cleansing, rebirth, passionless, and ultimately the realm of the demon god. He firmly believed that only when he achieved the status of a demon god he would be able to avenge his mother's death. He made a solemn oath before his mother's grave, vowing to become a demon god and eliminate the monsters responsible for his mother's demise. Despite the immense difficulty of attaining the demon god status, he resolved never to give up. Suddenly then, Meng Chuan's father Meng Dajiang approached, bringing joy to Qi Yue and Meng Chuan. Meng Chuan's father suggested that if they were tired, they should rest and maintain a balance between work and relaxation to foster cultivation, to which Qi Yue expressed her agreement. His father also stated that the upcoming Jade Sun Palace Demon Slaying Banquet would be the perfect opportunity for Qi Yue. Meng Chuan's father then inquired about Meng Chuan's own plans, mentioning that there were only 3 available slots for people at the essence cleansing realm. He asked whether Meng Chuan intended to participate. Meng Chuan, uncertain of having fully grasped the secret of the falling leaf sword technique, confessed his doubts, acknowledging that it remained a puzzle he couldn't solve. He sought his father's guidance, asking if he knew the secret. In response, his father acknowledged that Meng Chuan's Dean was the fastest swordsmanship in Dongying City and suggested that Dean Gayu would teach him. As for the secret, his father believed that through continuous practice, it would eventually reveal itself. He assured Meng Chuan that no one currently had an answer for it. Qi Yue chimed in, referring to the legends of the Zhang family's ancestors who had realized the secrets of their skills by the age of 13, subsequently achieving a state of unity in swordsmanship. Meng Chuan emphasized that he is 15 years old presently, and still now not realized the secrets. Meng Chuan's father then praised his son as a good boy and advised him not to worry, as cultivation required perseverance and breakthroughs wouldn't come quickly. He expressed his satisfaction with Meng Chuan's achievements and encouraged him to continue developing his talents. He mentioned an ancestor, Yushan, who had lived 500 years ago, and explained that he had realized the secret at the age of 18 and didn't become a demon god until the age of 80. He concluded by assuring Meng Chuan that with his talent, he would eventually become a demon god. Then, in the afternoon at Mirror Lake Temple, Meng Chuan, exhausted from the dean's swordsmanship class, found himself lost in thought. He reflected on his struggles and expressed his frustration, saying that he couldn't figure out when he would achieve unity with his sword. He admitted that he thought about it every day and felt overwhelmed. Feeling disappointed with himself, he scolded himself for being lazy and expressed his anger. He then heard the voice of someone scolding to disciples, then he realized it was Instructor Ma. He then heard the instructor's words, advising the disciple to meditate and warning about the consequences of not reaching the essence-cleansing realm. He heard the instructor saying that those who couldn't achieve it would be considered trash for life. The instructor Ma started to give the example of Meng Chuan as a determined disciple. The instructor praised Meng Chuan's accomplishments and encouraged his disciples to learn from Senior Meng Chuan. He highlighted that at the age of 13, Senior Meng Chuan had learned the falling leaf sword under the guidance of the dean. The instructor commended Senior Meng Chuan's dedication and skill, emphasizing that he was younger than the disciples themselves. He urged them to take inspiration from Senior Meng Chuan's achievements and strive to match his level of commitment. Feeling nervous, Meng Chuan wanted to leave the training ground quickly. However, Instructor Mark noticed his departure and invited him to give some guidance to the disciples. The audience applauded and cheered for Senior Meng Chuan, praising him and suggesting others learn from him. Instructor Ma used the opportunity to teach the other disciples, pointing out Meng Chuan's achievements and dedication at such a young age. He questioned whether any of the disciples could match his level of commitment. This made Meng Chuan uncomfortable, and he left the training ground quietly, unable to handle the attention. As he pondered the Instructor Ma's words, Meng Chuan overheard Instructor Ma discussing the importance of hard work and learning from others. The instructor emphasized that there were no shortcuts in learning the sword. These words resonated with Meng Chuan, and he considered them as valuable lessons. Inspired by Instructor Ma's teachings, Meng Chuan decided to learn from other great masters. At that same time, 2 junior disciples were gossiping about Senior Meng Chuan. Meng Chuan then approached the juniors, politely asking if they would mind lending him the books, stating that he would greatly appreciate it. The junior disciples responded with enthusiasm, assuring him that they would be delighted to lend him the books. Their excitement and admiration for Meng Chuan were evident as they eagerly supported his quest for knowledge. He expressed his gratitude to the junior disciples for their willingness to lend him the demon god biographies. But the juniors were surprised by Meng Chuan's interest in reading demon god biographies. As night fell, Meng Chuan immersed himself in studying the biographies of legendary demon gods. He reflected deeply and continued his internal dialogue, realizing that learning from the strongest individuals was the key to his progress. He believed that the biographies held the secrets to unlocking his own potential. With determination, Meng Chuan approached Uncle Qian and requested his assistance in acquiring every demon god biography and seeking teachings from powerful demon god families. He urged Uncle Qian to act quickly, emphasizing the importance of gathering knowledge. This marked the beginning of their mission to uncover the secrets of the demon gods. Meng Chuan's thirst for knowledge and his unwavering pursuit of greatness fueled his determination to succeed. The next morning, Uncle Qian asked young master if he had eaten and why he had scattered books around the room. Meng Chuan mentioned that the biography he was reading contained mainly stories, and he needed to screen them carefully. While reading, Meng Chuan started talking to himself, emphasizing the importance of learning from others, especially from the strongest demon gods in history. He pointed out that a solid foundation was necessary to prevent any mishaps. He was filtering all the books. Despite some flaws in the biography's portrayal of the demon god's methods, Meng Chuan began to trust it. He was a little bit confused as on one side the Northern Sword Emperor advised to not train their sword, instead they should enslave it. On the other side, Wei Feng wrote that if you master a single move, it can consume heaven. He also came across information about the demon god family's motto recommendation to enter the Academy for Comprehensive Training. Meng Chuan became convinced that he needed to go through all the books and organize them. He noticed that the cultivation experiences of the 3 demon gods were similar and then started trusting the biography even more. Finally, Meng Chuan organized his books and realized that the past 5 days were more important than 5 years of his previous practice. As Meng Chuan was about to leave, Uncle Qian stopped him, informing him that breakfast was ready and asking where he was going. Meng Chuan replied that he was going for practicing his swordsmanship and hurriedly left. In the courtyard, while practicing his sword skills, Meng Chuan talked to himself and summarized his notes into 9 main points. As Meng Chuan delved into his training, he enthusiastically recited the first principle he had discovered, the paramount importance of a strong foundation in cultivation. He believed that the most effective method to achieve this was by entering the temple, immersing oneself in a complete and systematic practice. The second principle understood by Meng Chuan was that the number of exercises played a pivotal role, surpassing mere contemplation. He asserted that nothing compared to the repetition of drawing a sword 10,000 times a day and executing blood-drawing stabs with equal fervor. As he practiced, someone observed him and was having a look at his practice by standing behind a tree. But Meng Chuan was busy with his practice. And then, suddenly the third principle revealed itself like a bolt from the heavens that was the power contained within a single move. Meng Chuan emphasized the value of honing a single technique to its utmost perfection before delving into a repertoire of 10 moves. He contemplated the profound realization that when facing adversaries, sometimes only one masterful strike was needed. The fourth principle believed by Meng Chuan was that the true cultivation on the path to becoming a grandmaster required not only skill but also the enjoyment derived from the process itself. He recognized that hard work paved the way to mastery, and he embraced the discipline with enthusiasm. With each swing of his sword, Meng Chuan felt the passage of time and the progression of his skills. He reflected on the notion that, as days and months passed, tangible progress was inevitable. He firmly believed that by investing effort and perseverance, he would ultimately ascend to the rank of a master. Unknown to Meng Chuan, a mysterious observer lingered in the shadows, captivated by the graceful movements. He was surprised by Meng Chuan's swordsmanship. Embracing the passage of time and the gradual evolution of his skills, Meng Chuan contemplated the fifth principle that had manifested within his training. The fifth principle was, as the days and months passed by, some progress must have been made. Just like before, if he works hard, he will progress and become a master. Recognizing the inherent truth embedded in this principle, Meng Chuan understood that growth was an ongoing journey, built upon consistent effort and unwavering dedication. He acknowledged that the relentless pursuit of excellence, day by day and month by month, would inevitably yield results. This observer marveled at Meng Chuan's growth, recognizing the potential harbored within him. The observer knew deep within their being that they had stumbled upon someone extraordinary, destined for greatness. Suddenly then, Meng Chuan noticed the presence of the mysterious observer and inquired about it, causing the person to become scared and leave without saying anything. But as Meng Chuan practiced diligently, he began to notice subtle changes in himself. Meanwhile, in the Yun family's underground hall, Qing Ping's father, Yun Fuan, was praying to a higher power, and that higher power was none other than Qing Ping's grandfather. The grandfather mentioned that he had received a message about one of the Meng family's demon god being gravely injured and possibly having only 7 to 8 years left to live. Listening to this, Yun Fuan expressed concern about the future of the Meng family and the implications of the Meng family's demon god's potential demise. The father considered the benefits that would arise if the Meng family lost power and mentioned a promise made to a boy named Meng Chuan. The grandfather, responding to Yun Fuan's statement, confirmed that once Meng Xianggu died, the Meng family would lose their influence in Dongning. They further discussed the marriage between Meng Chuan and Qing Ping, with the grandfather suggesting that they should hand over the marriage certificate to Meng family and break the engagement. Listening to this, Yuan Fuan expressed fear that the Meng family might not comply, but the grandfather assured him that the Meng family were superior than them, and resisting on the breakup of the engagement would bring shame upon themselves. They concluded that the current state of the Meng family was not worth marrying into. Meanwhile, the princess, lost in her thoughts, commented on her father's unusual behavior, thinking that all this was Meng Chuan's fault. Qing Ping's father, seeking to address the situation at hand, approached her intending to have a conversation. However, Qing Ping interrupted and expressed her desire to share something important. Not allowing her to speak, he informed her that he would personally visit the Meng family to declare their marriage invalid. Qing Ping was shocked by listening to this news. She approached her father and revealed her desire to break off the engagement with Meng Chuan without causing disrespect to Meng's family. She suggested her father to ask Uncle Meng to come to their place and have a talk. But father just ignored her suggestions. Just then, while he was leaving, he whispered to himself with a cunning smile, expressing confidence in handling the situation. On the other hand, in the Mirror Lake residence, Meng Chuan's father inquired about Meng Chuan's whereabouts. One of the staff members informed him that the young master was engrossed in painting, mentioning that it might be an influence of his late mother. They noted that if she were present, Meng Chuan wouldn't have to paint alone, as he was quite talented in that aspect. Meanwhile, Meng Chuan continued painting quietly in the study room. Meng Chuan devotedly wielded his brush, weaving strokes of colors on the canvas with a sense of purpose. His artistic pursuits seemed to transport him to a realm of tranquility, where the world outside faded away, leaving only the canvas as his sanctuary. Unexpectedly, Meng Chuan's father entered the study room and called him to accompany him to the ancestral home. Meng Chuan expressed surprise, as his father rarely disturbed him while he was painting. Curious about the sudden turn of events, Meng Chuan asked his father what was going on. His father explained that it concerned his engagement with Qing Ping and informed him that both their families had decided to break the engagement. Meng Chuan was taken aback by the news and questioned the reason for the abrupt termination. He then asked his father if he disliked Qing Ping or if there were any issues between them. His father reassured him that it wasn't about personal preferences and urged him to come to the ancestral home to discuss the matter further. Left with numerous thoughts and uncertainties, Meng Chuan pondered the situation, feeling that this cancellation brought great shame to the Meng family. Then, arriving at the ancestral home, Meng Chuan observed a group of elders gathered around. Their somber expressions made him feel uneasy, wondering about their intentions and what lay ahead. Among the elders, Meng Chuan's father addressed Qing Ping's father, Yun Fuan, inquiring if he had brought the marriage certificate. Yun Fuan confirmed that he had brought it and expressed no objection to the annulment of the engagement. Meng Chuan's father then mentioned that both families had agreed that breaking the engagement was for the best, since Meng Chuan no longer had the intention to proceed with it. He requested Yun Fuan to present the marriage certificate, emphasizing the need to dissolve the engagement promptly. Yun Fuan responded with a sly smile, assuring them that he had no intention of using the marriage certificate against them in the future. Then, addressing Meng Chuan directly, Yun Fuan stated that from that point on, Meng Chuan and his daughter had no connection or association. Seeing this, the ancestors of the Meng family expressed anger and resentment towards Yun Fuan for attempting to bully their descendant. However, Meng Chuan has energetically given a response to Yun Fuan that he also has no more interest in the engagement and there will be no more association of any kind between him and Qing Ping. Seeing Meng Chuan's straightforwardness, Yun Fuan got annoyed as he was thinking Meng Chuan would be crying by listening to this. However, Yun Fuan maintained his cunning smile, unfazed by their reactions. Taking note of Meng Chuan's composed demeanor, his father then approached him, acknowledging his composure and stating that he had handled the situation well. He informed Meng Chuan that the engagement had been officially cancelled and advised him to return home, as his father had some matters to attend to. Meng Chuan replied affirmatively, accepting his father's instructions, and then took a leave from the ancestral home. After Meng Chuan departed, his father and the ancestors engaged in a conversation, their voices tinged with annoyance towards Qing Ping's father's behavior. They expressed their belief that the Yun family had come solely to assert dominance and push them around. But the annulment of the marriage was viewed as a favorable outcome, as it prevented any further entanglement and potential financial burden between the families. The Meng family harbored a deep-seated resentment towards the Yun family, vowing not to be intimidated by their elders' incessant demands. While discussing the shameful conduct exhibited by the Yun family, the ancestors found it highly vexing. The head of the ancestors, Meng Yanping, took the floor acknowledging that, in the grand scheme of things, the marriage contract was a minor issue for the Meng family. He further addressed that, actually, it was the injury suffered by the third sister, also the demon god of the family, Meng Xianggu, that shook the very foundation of their esteemed lineage. Inquiring about the seriousness of her condition, the ancestors deliberated whether her injury was truly incurable, prompting them to contemplate the possible accident that had befallen their elder. He also informed that Meng Xianggu was going to return to Dongning City in 2 days. The once illustrious glory of the Meng family seemed to be fading away, casting a shadow of uncertainty over their future. That night, upon Meng Chuan's return home, he appeared lost in thought, his mind devoid of emotion. Qi Yue, eagerly awaiting his arrival, greeted him with joy, expressing her happiness at his safe return. However, Meng Chuan remained unresponsive, his mind consumed by a void of emotions. Observing his blank expression, she questioned the cause of his somber demeanor. Meng Chuan then responded by informing her about the breakup of his engagement with Qing Ping. Listening about the news, Qi Yue, bewildered by her reaction, exclaimed her relief upon hearing about the dissolution of his engagement with Qing Ping. Her reaction caught Meng Chuan off guard, leaving him perplexed by her seemingly callous response. Concerned, he inquired about her sudden change in behavior, noticing the absence of distress on her face. Brushing off her initial surprise, Qi Yue assured him that she believed the termination of the engagement to be a positive outcome. She reminded him that the marriage agreement had been a pact made by their ancestors, and that its cancellation had now brought their family into a more favorable position. Meng Chuan then further explained that at that moment, The ancestors, though visibly angered, strive to conceal their emotions, owing to the support they received from the Yun family, which held considerable power over the Meng family. Qi Yue, impressed by Meng Chuan's astute observations, expressed her admiration for his thoughtfulness. Meng Chuan, wearing a faint smile, humbly attributed it to mere guessing. Attempting to uplift Meng Chuan's spirits, Qi Yue encouraged him to savor a slice of cake, symbolizing a small moment of joy amidst the turmoil. Excitedly then, Meng Chuan indulged in the sweet treat, finding solace in the present moment. Meanwhile, in the city of Dongning, the night sky was adorned with golden flashes of lightning, resembling a magnificent eagle descending gracefully to the ground. Perched atop the eagle was none other than the renowned demon god, the third sister, Meng Xianggu. Proclaiming her triumphant return to her hometown, her voice resonated proudly through the night. Meng Xianggu called out to Junior Wing, urging her to go back. Junior Wing hesitated, not wanting to leave her alone. Meng Xianggu then assured her that she would be fine and that they might not see each other again. She considered it a good thing that she made it home before her impending death. Junior Wing told Meng Xianggu to promise her to write a letter if she needed anything, and then Junior Wing bid her farewell as she mounted the Golden Eagle and departed from Dongning City. Meanwhile, Meng Xianggu flew through the sky, swiftly making her way towards the capital of Dongning City. Her speed was incredible, yet the people on the ground remained oblivious to her presence. As she approached the backyard of the Meng family, she viewed that Meng Yanping was indulging in wine and expressing his frustration over the annulled engagement. Meng Yanping believed it to be a form of bullying and lamented the unpleasant situation caused by the Yun family. Suddenly, then, the voice of Meng Xianggu echoed, catching Meng Yanping off guard. He was both surprised and scared by her sudden appearance. Overjoyed, he exclaimed, calling out to her, and then started to cry. Meng Xianggu confirmed her identity and questioned why he was crying, reminding him that she had lived a good life. Meng Yanping couldn't contain his emotions, realizing that her time was limited. He asked if her injury was truly incurable. Meng Xianggu reassured him that as long as she didn't provoke any battles or face mortal danger, she had another 7 or 8 years to live. She emphasized that everyone is destined to age, and even the demon gods share that ultimate fate. She encouraged him not to be saddened by the situation and assured him that the remaining years would be sufficient for her to make proper arrangements for their family. She mentioned that news of her injury had reached her before she returned to Dongning. When Meng Xianggu further inquired about the changes in Dongning, she learned that their family, along with the Yun family, had broken off Meng Chuan's engagement. She also got to know that the other 4 prominent demon gods' families had also taken action, but their anger was not directed towards the Meng family. Meng Xianggu then explained that when the engagement was initially arranged, Yun Wanhai had intended to exploit the power of the Meng family. Therefore, it was not surprising that the engagement was now dissolved. Meng Xianggu, unable to recall her brother's name correctly, playfully referred to him as Peng Peng. Meng Yanping, as he was the patriarch of the Meng family and 90 years old elder, he requested his sister to use his actual name when addressing him. He asked for a level of respect in their conversation. Meng Xianggu then agreed to his request, but continued to struggle with remembering his name, causing her to affectionately call him Ping Ping. Then, Meng Xianggu proceeded to give the order to summon all members at the raging fire hall. Meng Yanping accepted the order and exclaimed that his name is Yanping. Meng Yanping then summoned all the elders and sisters to the raging fire hall. Then, Meng Xianggu made a resounding announcement, stating that for thousands of years, their family had thrived under the influence of 2 demon gods, their esteemed old ancestor and herself. However, she acknowledged that times were changing, and the situation was becoming increasingly challenging. So she pondered whether it was still possible for any of the younger generations in the Meng family to rise to the status of a demon god. Therefore, with a loud voice, Meng Xianggu proclaimed her belief in the potential of the younger generation by stroking her stick on the ground. An ancestor responded by emphasizing that Meng Daji in particular was quite talented, further informing that he had mastered the great sword at the age of 19 and strengthened his sword force by the age of 30. The ancestor indicated that Meng Daji held a glimmer of hope to become a demon god. Then Meng Xianggu inquired about Zheng Ningdan, a disciple of Mirror Lake Academy. Replying to her, Meng Chuan's father acknowledged that Meng Daji was not even close to becoming a demon god. Then Meng Xianggu inquired about the young juniors. Replying to her, Meng Yanping mentioned that there were 3 juniors, including Meng Wenying, who was 16 years old and already a first-rate swordswoman at the age of 12. Second was Meng Ju, at 23 years old, who had also reached the secret level of cultivation. Lastly, there was Dajiang's son, Meng Chuan, who was 15 years old and had successfully grasped the sword technique, although he had not yet mastered the secret skill. However, Meng Xianggu seemed unsatisfied, expressing her doubts about the competence of the younger generation. Then, Meng Xianggu interrupted, asserting that they should all retreat. She declared that in the next few years, all the juniors in the entire family should intensify their training, considering everything else unimportant. She also said that before her passing, she wanted to witness a young successor who defied expectations and became a demon god. The public present there acknowledged her words, understanding the weight of her aspirations. The next day in Dongning City, it was evident that the people were in high spirits due to the increase in resources. A mother was seen engaged in conversation with her daughter, expressing her delight over the newfound abundance. She mentioned how previously she could only provide her daughter with a small amount of silver and one blood pill, but now it was 10 times more. The mother expressed her joy and reminded her daughter of the need to work hard to repay the Meng family. The citizens of Dongning City praised the Meng family for their generosity, acknowledging their gratitude and satisfaction with the increased resources. However, amidst the cheerful atmosphere, Meng Chuan was feeling unsettled. He approached Uncle Qian and expressed his concerns. While everyone appeared content, Meng Chuan sensed that things were not as simple as they seemed. He questioned if the increased allocation of resources would be sufficient and noted the serious expressions on the faces of the elders. He informed Uncle Qian that the masters of the Mirror Lake Academy, who had been absent for weeks, started to reappear for guiding the younger generation. At that moment, Meng Chuan realized that his family might be facing a significant issue. He contemplated the possibility of there being more to the situation than what meets the eye. Determined, he declared that he must work harder to cultivate and practice martial arts. He believed that he should be prepared for any challenges that might arise, especially if there were underlying issues yet to be revealed. Driven by his concerns, Meng Chuan then rushed to intensify his martial arts training, wholeheartedly dedicating himself to the pursuit of cultivation. The other day, in the middle of the Meng residence, Meng Chuan was practicing his martial arts, when suddenly his father approached Uncle Qian inquiring about the young master. Meng Chuan's father asked Uncle Qian how the young master was doing, as he was still practicing martial arts, even though the sun had almost set. Inquiring further, Meng Chuan's father also mentioned that the young master had practiced a lot that day. Uncle Qian replied, saying that the young master had been practicing since morning with only a break to eat food. Meng Chuan's father asked how he could practice for so long, and Uncle Qian explained that for the past few days, the young master had been taking medicine baths at night and practicing his swordsmanship for an hour after that. He mentioned that the young master had only taken breaks for meals and sleeps, and spent the rest of the time practicing swordsmanship for 6 or 7 hours a day. Uncle Qian added that a few days ago, the young master had also been reading some demon god biography. This information took aback Meng Chuan's father, as he guessed that the breakup of the engagement had possibly stimulated Meng Chuan to practice so much. Shocked, he quickly thought to approach Meng Chuan and called out to him. Meng Chuan's father had wrongly guessed that all this practice of Meng Chuan was because of the breakup of the engagement. While practicing, Meng Chuan suddenly realized that his father had come to see his practice, and he hurriedly acknowledged his presence. Meng Chuan's father then informed him that from that day onwards, Meng Chuan would have 8 essence-cleansing partners, including 3 from the Rebirth Realm, who would serve as his training partners. Additionally, 6 Leakless Realm seniors would take turns each month practicing with him. He informed Meng Chuan that the clan had decided to help him to cultivate more. He emphasized that the family could pay for such resources, but Meng Chuan needed to handle them diligently. Meng Chuan was surprised and happy with this arrangement and assured his father that he would practice diligently. Then, his father also handed him some books. Seeing this, Meng Chuan asked if they were demon god biographies. His father replied him that those books were not demon god biographies and explained that they were light and interesting readings, a collection of jokes. Meng Chuan was taken aback by this, and he remarked on the unexpected nature of his father, as presently it was not important for him to read jokes. However, he accepted them and expressed his gratitude. Then, by keeping his hand on Meng Chuan's shoulder, his father told him that he had initially neglected Meng Chuan's personal feelings and advised Meng Chuan that now he should only focus on his practice. He mentioned that as long as Meng Chuan practiced diligently, he would avoid regrets. He further acknowledged Meng Chuan's maturity and reminded him that life without a wife was a common experience. All this he told because he had the misconception that Meng Chuan is upset because of the annulling of his engagement. Meng Chuan then questioned the meaning of his father saying, "life without a wife." But his father stopped him from uttering any word and advised him not to let his imagination run him wild. His uncles also comforted him and explained that they understood his situation and would diligently help him with his practice. Seeing this, Meng Chuan felt a bit confused, but he set it aside, realizing that practicing with the Leakless Realm members was a great opportunity. He contemplated to himself that having such strong people to practice with was of great benefit, especially considering their significance within the Dongning city. Meng Chuan decided to seize this opportunity and become more diligent in his practice. He planned to practice his swordsmanship in the morning with the strong individuals and continue training alone in the afternoon and evening. In a few days, unconsciously, unprecedented progress has been made in his move and skills. In the late morning on the martial art field, a conversation unfolded between two Leakless realms. One of them called out to Chang Wang, questioning why he was still observing the boy's practice when the sparring had already concluded. The boy was none other than Meng Chuan. Chang Wang, a shadow-fighting swordsman hailing from the Leakless realm, was well respected in the bustling city of Dongning. The person inquired about Chang Wang's lingering presence, emphasizing the value of his time as he was from Leakless realm. Sarcastically, he asked how much money he had taken to stay for a while after practice. Chang Wang rudely responded that he had not accepted any money to stay. He explained that he found the boy's practice to be incredibly captivating and interesting. Chang Wang expressed that he hadn't witnessed such promising talent in Donging for a long time. He felt that this child possessed extraordinary potential, wondering if he had received guidance from the esteemed otherworldly master from an early age. Chang Wang marveled at the boy's patience and dedication of repeating his practice meticulously, enabling him to truly comprehend the essence of each move. He further added that this approach allowed the boy to unite all the moves as a cohesive whole. Chang Wang found great joy in watching the child's practice, appreciating the beauty of his movements. He speculated that the boy might be unaware of his own rapid progress. Chang Wang likened the process of cultivation to pushing a large stone up a mountain. Initially slow, but as time passed, the progress would transform into an unstoppable torrential wave, surging forward with tremendous force. Meanwhile, Meng Chuan continued his practice. His sword was moving like lightning. Suddenly, in a moment of clarity, Meng Chuan realized that his every move had seamlessly fused together. He felt a profound unity spreading throughout his body, flesh, blood, bones, muscles, and heart. At that moment, he recognized that there were no limits to his body and mind. Filled with understanding, he solemnly promised himself that he would strive to become a demon god. The next day, in the early morning, in the small yard of the Meng residence, Qi Yue and Meng Chuan were discussing regarding the challenge they had made a few days ago. The challenge was that if Qi Yue lost in the tournament, which would happen next week, she would have to cook dinner for a month. Qi Yue protested, claiming that it was unfair. Meng Chuan, on the other hand, confidently stated that if he lost, he would give his beloved collection of 100 speed paintings to Qi Yue. Qi Yue argued that it was still unfair, as cooking for a month was a bigger task. They bantered back and forth, with Qi Yue teasingly mentioning that Meng Chuan hadn't reached the marrow cleansing realm yet. Then she asked Meng Chuan that is he sure that he could reach the top 3 in the academy. Meng Chuan expressed his uncertainty, admitting he wasn't confident enough to gamble on it. Listening to Meng Chuan, Qi Yue left the room to warm up in the yard by playfully retorting that his paintings would be hers. But Meng Chuan remained unperturbed and calmly sipped his tea, ignoring her sarcastic statements. The next day, as Meng Chuan entered the academy area, people recognized him and started to exclaim his name and questioned why brother Meng Chuan was coming there so leisurely. Some voiced their support for him, expressing their desire to see him in action as he had also participated in the competition. However, they secretly hoped that the top 2 disciples of the academy, Wan Mang and Bai Guan, should compete with each other for the first place. The dean, who was also present there, addressed everyone, declaring that they would determine the best disciple that day. He emphasized that nobody should underestimate each other. Suddenly, 2 individuals stepped backward, giving excuses for not participating. The first person admitted that he didn't feel strong enough, while the second person had lost to others in a challenge conducted on the previous day. The dean then announced that the disciples were free to challenge each other to win and eliminate others. However, they would have to quit if they lost twice in a row. Everyone prepared themselves, knowing the rules. Among the 6 disciples, the first 2 would fight each other, and the winner would go on to challenge the next disciple, continuing until the final victorious person emerged. As everyone wondered who would be the first to go, Wan Mang cunningly approached Bai Guan, asking if he was ready to go. However, Bai Guan, fearful of Wan Mang, declined, leaving the others guessing who would step forward first. Unexpectedly, another voice spoke up, claiming the first place. It was none other than Meng Chuan. The crowd was taken aback, wondering why Brother Meng Chuan chose to go first. They assumed that he had given up hope and wanted to over the fight as soon as he could. The dean found it interesting and commented that Dajiang's son has a lot of guts, even though he seems cold. Meanwhile, in a shadowed tone, Bai Guan, a disciple of Mirror Lake Academy, declared that he would go second. Bai Guan confronted Meng Chuan, remarking on his haste. Bai Guan informed Meng Chuan that he was being too hasty and stated that if Meng Chuan wanted to obtain the first place, he would have to ask Bai Guan first. Then, Meng Chuan hilariously requested Bai Guan's permission. This remark amused the onlookers, who laughed at Bai Guan's expense, as Meng Chuan had indirectly made fun of Bai Guan. Bai Guan, growing angrier, retorted Meng Chuan that he had not yet spoken in anger with him that day. He accused Meng Chuan that he was taking advantage of his provocation and vowed to teach Meng Chuan a lesson. Bai Guan rudely challenged Meng Chuan, questioning if he had ever managed to withstand 10 of his moves. Then, Meng Chuan calmly responded, acknowledging the power of Bai Guan's twin sword technique. This only served to irritate Bai Guan further. This resulted in Bai Guan threatening Meng Chuan, saying that he wouldn't see the light of day without shedding tears. In an instant, the intense battle began. Bai Guan aimed to overpower Meng Chuan, attempting to strike him with his sword. The dean worried, contemplating the consequences if Meng Chuan got injured or worse, considering the hefty sum he would have to pay his father. Suddenly, Bai Guan swung his sword at Meng Chuan with the intention to kill him. But as he swung his sword, he felt a sense of lightness, and to his surprise, he found Meng Chuan standing behind him, holding his sword against his neck. Meng Chuan triumphantly shouted that he won the fight. The onlookers were left in a state of utter shock, unable to comprehend how the events unfolded so quickly. Only the dean managed to catch a glimpse of Meng Chuan's incredible speed. However, to everyone's surprise, as Bai Guan lunged forward to attack Meng Chuan dodged his attack swiftly and counterattacked by placing his sword at Bai Guan's neck. Seeing this, the onlookers were shocked. No one had expected that Meng Chuan would manage to defeat Bai Guan so quickly. The dean exclaimed that Meng Chuan had executed the secret skill, 3 autumn leaves, a move unknown to many. At that moment, Meng Chuan remembered his past when his surroundings were engulfed in fire and monsters were attacking the citizens. Everyone was screaming, seeking rescue. Meng Chuan, at the tender age of 6, was frightened by the howling of the monsters. He clung to his father's back and ran with his mother and father, trying to find safety from the monsters. They ran as fast as they could, but suddenly, his mother realized that the monsters were coming closer to them. At that moment, Meng Chuan's mother decided that no matter what, the monsters should not come near Meng Chuan and his father. She reassured Meng Chuan, telling him not to be afraid, and that he would remain unharmed as long as he had his parents. Meng Chuan listened attentively as his mother continued, instructing him to look forward and not look back. Suddenly, his mother went in the opposite direction to face the monsters to fight them, urging Meng Chuan to leave her side. She assured him that she would always love him. She knew she would not see Meng Chuan again. Meng Chuan cried out in desperation, witnessing the battle between his mother and the monsters. Meng Chuan screamed in anguish, refusing to accept the separation. Since then, Meng Chuan has vowed to become a great warrior and take revenge for his mother's death. He was determined that his mother, who may be in heaven, would be proud of him. Meng Chuan never forgot the pain of his mother's death. He had been practicing diligently for the past 4 years, honing his skills. At the age of 11, he began practicing the secret skill called 3 autumn leaves. In these 4 years, he worked tirelessly, practicing day after day without slacking off. His determination stemmed from his desire to surpass his limits and become a demon god. Returning to the present, Meng Chuan's sword was on the neck of Bai Guan, leaving everyone shocked. Meng Chuan had executed his move swiftly and flawlessly. The dean expressed his excitement, acknowledging the emergence of a genius with the potential to become a demon god. The crowd remained silent, processing the astonishing display. Eventually, the excitement erupted and everyone cheered, acknowledging Meng Chuan's achievement. They marveled at the fact that this kid was of only 15 years old and had managed to unleash such power. People screamed with joy, exclaiming that a genius had finally emerged in their academy. They couldn't believe what they had witnessed. Brother Meng Chuan became the center of attention, and seeing this, a disciple ran toward the Meng clan to inform everyone. Upon hearing the news about Meng Chuan, all the members of the family hurried towards the academy to witness the mastery of the secret skill, 3 autumn leaves. Bai Guan inquired from Meng Chuan how he had learned the secret skill. In response, Meng Chuan proudly stated that over the past 2 years he had faced many challenges and obstacles, but he had finally overcome them and realized the skill. Upon hearing this, Bai Guan was taken aback and exclaimed to Meng Chuan that it was no surprise if he came first. Bai Guan expressed astonishment and remarked that Meng Chuan was now completely different from the rest of them. The onlookers marveled at his growth and offered their respect and admiration. The dean, recognizing the significance of him passing down the secret skill to Meng Chuan, praised his achievement. Therefore, Meng Chuan expressed gratitude to the dean for his guidance and teaching. Then suddenly another voice chimed in, shouting Meng Chuan to stop. This voice was of Wu Qi, one of the most disciplined disciples of Mirror Lake Academy. Wu Qi stepped forward, urging Meng Chuan to come to the ground and fight with him. Dean then instructed Meng Chuan not to go yet, stating that he would have to fight with Wu Qi. It was widely known that Wu Qi was a strong disciple. Then Meng Chuan and Wu Qi both came face to face. Seeing this, the dean mentioned that it was exciting to witness such a battle between 2 powerful individuals. Seeing Dean, a staff member commented that it had been a long time since he had seen the dean so thrilled. People praised Wu Qi, considering him worthy of being called a great elder brother in the Mirror Lake Academy. Observing Wu Qi's physique, Meng Chuan quietly remarked him that he had cultivated a demon god-level body known as the Dark Cloud Demon Body. Wu Qi confirmed to Meng Chuan in aggression that he possessed the Dark Cloud Demon Body. Without warning, Wu Qi launched an attack with his shield on Meng Chuan, but Meng Chuan managed to evade it. The fight became increasingly intense, and everyone enjoyed the spectacle. Noticing their battle, Dean expressed his satisfaction, praising the brilliance of Meng Chuan's sword strike abilities. Dean acknowledged Wu Qi's strength, which surpassed the level of marrow cleansing, making him a nearly perfect disciple. Dean also mentioned that it was evident that Meng Chuan had to cultivate through various levels, including foundation building level, international refining level, marrow cleansing level, rebirth level, and enlightenment level. Dean also informed that from all levels, the gap between the top 3 levels was not significant. But the 4th level, rebirth, marked the elimination of one's mortal birth, serving as a crucial step toward cultivating a demon god body and harnessing some of the power of a demon god. Also, the increase in strength resulting from this cultivation was astonishing. The combination of the Dark Cloud Demon Body and the River's Realm was perfect for Wu Qi. He also mentioned that Meng Chuan was capable of enduring Wu Qi's attacks without sustaining injuries, and this resilience was attributed to the power of the secret skill wielded by Meng Chuan, who held his sword confidently. Wu Qi realized that the power unleashed by Meng Chuan during their recent encounter was close to 75% of his own power, equivalent to what he achieved in the later stages of the Rebirth Realm. He wondered if this power stemmed from his secret skill, as the secret skill 3 Autumn Leaves focuses on speed. Although Wu Qi had greater power than Meng Chuan, Dean had some confidence in Meng Chuan's ability to win the fight. Wu Qi launched another attack, aiming to eliminate Meng Chuan. However, Meng Chuan's speed allowed him to dodge Wu Qi's attack and counterattack with his own sword, aiming at Wu Qi's shield. Witnessing Meng Chuan's agility and speed, Wu Qi got amazed. They both took a moment to rest and drunk water, in which Meng Chuan realized the extraordinary swiftness of the 3 Autumn Leaves' secret skill. But he also knew that Wu Qi had cultivated the Dark Cloud Demon Body, which heightened his ability to sense an opponent's position. Observing their fight, the dean commented on Wu Qi's defensive and offensive skills, and also noted the impenetrable defense and powerful attacks of Wu Qi, acknowledging that Wu Qi was a disciple of the Mirror Lake Academy, whose power approached the boundary of the river's realm. He mentioned soon enough the winner of the fight would be decided. Meng Chuan, speaking confidently, told Wu Qi that he would give it his best shot. He swiftly dodged and moved around Wu Qi, astonishing him with his speed. Wu Qi realized that Meng Chuan's power was charging up rapidly, making his speed even more astonishing. Wu Qi attempted to strike Meng Chuan with his sword, but he struggled to keep up with Meng Chuan's speed. Meng Chuan's sword strike seemed natural and spontaneous, akin to leaves being carried by the wind. Realizing the difficulty of the situation, Wu Cui became aware that Meng Chuan's speed was too much for him to handle. Suddenly, Meng Chuan appeared behind Wu Cui, placing his sword against his neck, claiming victory. Wu Cui accepted his defeat, acknowledging the strength of Meng Chuan's secret skills. The crowd cheered for Meng Chuan, hailing his victory over Wu Cui. They celebrated Meng Chuan's triumph, recognizing his prowess in the marrow-cleansing realm. The dean, filled with joy, expressed his elation, mentioning that he might make a dote in Meng Chuan's honor. Wu Qi graciously accepted his loss and praised Meng Chuan for being the strongest among the thousands of disciples of the Mirror Lake Academy. The atmosphere was filled with excitement and jubilation as everyone cheered and celebrated. People marveled at Meng Chuan's achievement of learning the secret skill, referring to him as an invincible senior brother. Amidst the commotion, Instructor Ma questioned the reason for the commotion, and a student informed him that Brother Meng Chuan had realized the secret skill. Instructor Ma was shocked and asked about the details of the secret skill. Seeing this, two disciples hurriedly ran towards the Meng mansion to inform the elders about Meng Chuan's achievement. However, the guards were trying to stop them and were instructing them to walk in a queue. Disregarding the guards, the disciples entered the mansion and informed everyone about Meng Chuan's realization of the secret skill. Listening to the news, the guards were shocked, and the disciples went on to inform all the elders, leaving everyone astonished. Seeing the commotion, the third elder, known for his strictness, inquired about the commotion. The disciples informed him about Meng Chuan's achievement, and the third elder, maintaining his stern demeanor, told them to leave, referring to them as stink boys. The disciples were shocked and called the third elder mad, as they felt he didn't show happiness for Meng Chuan's realization. However, the third elder, hiding his emotions, burst into tears of joy. He celebrated Meng Chuan's achievement and expressed his happiness. Meanwhile, Meng Chuan's father was training a child in swordsmanship on the practice field when his uncle came calling him. Meng Chuan's father inquired about the reason, and the uncle informed him that Meng Chuan had realized the secret skill. Meng Chuan's father didn't respond, and the uncle questioned him for remaining silent. Suddenly, Meng Chuan's father fainted upon hearing the news. The surrounding uncles came and gave him support to stand still, informing him that in a few hours they had to meet their sister Meng Xianggu. At Meng Xianggu's home, everyone was filled with joy. The third elderly ancestor proclaimed that the family was flourishing, and other elders were also talking about Meng Chuan's accomplishment with the 3 autumn leaves secret skill. The third elder also praised Meng Chuan and acknowledged the reward for being a Meng family child. All the elders were delighted, and they gathered around Meng Yanping, praising Meng Chuan. An elder expressed his desire to die in peace upon hearing the news, acknowledging Meng Chuan's talent of achieving the secret skill. Suddenly, Meng Xianggu interrupted, cautioning the elders not to be overly happy. She reminded them that Meng Chuan had only taken the first step toward the path of becoming a demon god, and still, he needed to realize the power of the sword before turning 20. She mentioned the need for Meng Chuan to enter the Yuanchu mountain and become a god-evil spirit, passing the final stage of life and death. She recounted her own experience of realizing her power at 22 and becoming a disciple of the outer gate of the mountain, emphasizing the long and difficult road ahead for Meng Chuan. The elders were shocked by this revelation, expressing their belief that it was too early for Meng Chuan to become a god spirit. Meng Xianggu rebuked the others, claiming that excessive flattery would destroy Meng Chuan. She declared that anyone who sought to harm Meng Chuan's practice was an enemy of the entire Meng family. The elders dispersed and returned to their work. Then, Meng Yanping informed Meng Xianggu that all of the ancestors had left, and then she came out expressing her true emotions. She considered Meng Chuan a wonderful child and expressed her happiness. She revealed her plan to cultivate a god-evil spirit for the family, mentioning how she can help Meng Chuan through her connections and friends in the mountain who could assist Meng Chuan on his journey. On the other side, in the Dongning Hall Street, Yun Fuan was enjoying the music performed by a lady. He believed that breaking off the marriage with Meng Chuan's family was a significant accomplishment for his own family. While listening to the music, he complimented the musician Lu Ju and expressed his satisfaction. Lu Ju replied modestly, mentioning that she still had much to learn from her teacher. Yun Fuan replied that her teacher was too old to compare with her. The musician replied then that she will sing another song dedicated to him and started to sing. Qi Ping's father was enjoying the music. Meanwhile, Lu Ju was thinking about Yun Fuan. She knew that he was the youngest son of the Yun family's ancestor. She believed that he wasn't as skilled as the three heroes of the Yun family because his responsibilities involved handling household matters and overseeing various family affairs. However, she acknowledged his significant power and influence within the family. Realizing that if she wanted to improve her own circumstances and become wealthy, she would have to rely on the support and favor of the old master. With this in mind, she resolved to take good care of him. Suddenly, a staff member came calling Yun Fuan, informing him that there was news which was important to bring to his notice, as it pertained to Meng Chuan's family. Yun Fuan angrily responded how he dares to disturb him while he was listening to music. However, upon knowing that it was about Meng Chuan's realization of the secret skill, Yun Fuan was shocked. On the other hand, all the elders gathered at Meng Chuan's residence, filled with joy and excitement, to celebrate his remarkable achievement. His father, brimming with pride, was shocked and amazed by his son's accomplishment. He affectionately patted and rubbed Meng Chuan's hair, expressing his appreciation and admiration. Meng Chuan, feeling a bit shy, jokingly requested his father not to rub his hair too much, else he will make him go bald. The atmosphere was filled with cheers and applause from everyone around. After the celebrations, Meng Chuan went to meet Qi Yue, who appeared to be furious. She accused him of being a big liar and questioned if he had actually achieved the breakthrough after their bet. Meng Chuan calmly responded, reminding her that he had promised to fulfill the quota, even if she had doubted him. He playfully mentioned that if she wanted to bet against him again, he wouldn't mind. Though Qi Yue was a little upset about having to make dinner for him for a whole month as per their bet, she declared that she wouldn't back down from it. Despite her slight annoyance, she couldn't help but feel happy for Meng Chuan's accomplishment. Meng Chuan's father called out to him, interrupting his conversation with Qi Yue. Meng Chuan had to leave the discussion halfway and go to his father's side. Qi Yue, with teary eyes, felt a surge of emotions. In her mind, she acknowledged that while Meng Chuan could sometimes deceive people, he had genuinely achieved the powerful sword technique through his daily hard work and practice. Meng Chuan and his father met at the training area. His father expressed his immense happiness and pride. However, he also warned Meng Chuan not to let this victory make him overconfident or allow it to get to his head. He reminded him that there were still many competitions ahead, and the path was filled with life-and-death trials. Each step would be extremely challenging. His father advised him that while others could support him, he ultimately had to rely on himself. Meng Chuan understood the significance of his father's words, knowing that his father was a powerhouse of wisdom and experience. Back at the Meng house, the entire family was celebrating, treating it like a festive occasion. The topic of discussion was Meng Chuan's remarkable achievement. The news of Meng Chuan's secret technique had also quickly spread to neighboring towns, and people from the Meng family were speculating that the Yun family must be regretting their decision of annulling the marriage with Meng Chuan. While everyone around was reveling in Meng Chuan's victory, he found solace in his study area, hidden away from the festivities. He was busy drawing and writing on a scroll, recounting the recent events. He composed a letter to his late mother, believing that she could somehow see and hear him. In his letter, he shared his excitement, informing her that he had finally realized the secret technique and taken another significant step forward on his journey. As the events unfolded, Yun Fuan found himself both angry and saddened by the situation. He couldn't believe that Meng Chuan had managed to learn the secret technique so quickly, right after dissolving the engagement. He felt a sense of frustration, wondering if he could be blamed for what had transpired. The Yun family was now facing a difficult situation, and Yun Fuan couldn't help but feel a mix of emotions. Meanwhile, a staff member approached Yun Fuan and urged him to eat, but he angrily shouted at him to leave the room, and suddenly he wore a cunning smile, contemplating the fact that Meng Chuan was still far from becoming a demon god. He took pleasure in the thought that Meng Chuan might be feeling proud of participating in the Demon Beast event, not fully realizing the dangers that awaited him. Yun Fuan was happy with this prospect and relished the potential risks Meng Chuan could face, even going as far as considering the possibility of his demise. A few days later, on the 3rd day of March, a group of individuals arrived at Yuyang Palace in Dongning City on carts for the Demon Beast event. Among them were students from different dynasties, including Qi Ping and Meng Chuan. A disciple then explained to Meng Chuan that the palace where they were headed was the strongest force in guarding the city, and its members held a noble status. There was also a Yun master who was guiding the disciples. The Yun master pointed out the Yuyang Palace master and expressed how the Yuyang Palace was awe-inspiring under the master's reign. Suddenly, Qi Ping noticed that Meng Chuan was also there among the group of disciples. Then, Qi Ping reflected on how shortly after their marriage contract was canceled, Meng Chuan soared to new heights, mastering the secret skill and becoming a shining genius in the city. But she didn't regret her decision, even though her friends in the clan laughed at her as the person she wanted to marry should be of her own choice. And even if it seemed like a joke to others, she didn't care. Seeing Qi Ping lost in her own thought, Yun Master addressed Qi Ping, warning her not to look around like a fool and demanded her full attention. He reminded the disciples of the Yun dynasty that during their military service, they would have to fight monsters, and stated that anyone who was scared of monsters should quietly go back to their home. Qi Ping and the other disciples agreed with him, assuring him of their determination. As they arrived at the venue where the Demon Beast event was going to be conducted, Yun Master reminded the disciples to be cautious and not offend anyone, including the officials and the imperial court member. Then the master of Yuyang Palace entered at the venue. Seeing him, everyone present there greeted him. The disciples marveled at the grandeur of the palace and the reverence shown towards the palace master. They observed how everyone, including the officials, bowed in respect as soon as the palace master entered. Even the usually unruly dean had become obedient in his presence. The disciples couldn't help but feel awestruck by the palace master's commanding presence. The palace master seemed like a figure carved from jade, radiating an aura of power and authority. His eyes were mesmerizing, shining like the most dazzling existence in the world. He held the highest status in Dongning City and served as the protector of the patron saint of Dongning. His presence alone commanded respect and admiration from all. As the disciples looked around the palace master, they noticed two other individuals of significance standing around the Yuyang Palace master. One was Mei Yuanzhi, who had realized the secret technique at the age of 15 and was renowned as the #1 disciple in Dongning City. His skill and achievements were widely acknowledged, and his presence added to the aura of greatness in the palace. Curiosity arose among the disciples as they spotted another individual wearing white loose clothing, standing beside the palace master. They inquired about this person, but no one knew anything about him. However, a voice from within the group confidently informed that he was Mei Yuanzhi. It was clear that Mei Yuanzhi was not an ordinary person, as he stood by the side of the palace master, indicating his importance and position. Then, as the event started, the disciples listened attentively to the ringmaster as he addressed the gathering, explaining the purpose and significance of the Yuyang Palace Demon event. The ringmaster emphasized that this event takes place once every 3 years and had a long history, dating back to the early days of the Wen dynasty. Its primary aim was to train and prepare the young heroes before they were sent into actual battles. The ringmaster further explained that this event served as a platform for the young warriors to gain first-hand experience in fighting monsters. It allowed them to confront and understand the true nature of the creatures they would encounter on the battlefield. The intention behind this event was to equip the young heroes with practical skills and knowledge, ensuring they were well prepared for future encounters with the monsters. The ringmaster further emphasized that the Yuyang Palace Demon event was organized with good intentions to provide valuable training and experience to the participants, helping them grow and develop their abilities as warriors. By participating in this event, the disciples would have the opportunity to face formidable challenges and test their mettle against powerful opponents. Qi Ping's father was also present there for spectating the event. He was irritated by Meng Chuan's presence, sarcastically mentioning to Meng Chuan that if Meng Chuan found it difficult to fight with a monster, he should give up. But Meng Chuan, ignoring his sarcastic comment, brought all his focus to the preparation for the competition. Then, the ringmaster reminded all of them of the rule that no outsiders were allowed to intervene in the middle of a battle. Even if they died, it was part of the event's rules. He also emphasized the potential dangers and injuries that could occur. Hearing this, many disciples disappeared. But despite the warnings, some disciples stepped forward to fight with the monsters. At last, the event was about to commence, and then a cart with an angry and intimidating monster on it was brought forward, causing fear in a child who hugged his mother tightly. The atmosphere was tense as the participants prepared to face the challenging battles against the fierce monsters. As the intense battle unfolded, the monster's cunning tactics became apparent to everyone present there. It skillfully concealed its stance, luring its opponents into false assumptions, and then swiftly changed its speed, catching them off guard. Its movements were fluid and precise, a testament to its formidable power and intelligence. With each encounter, the monster mercilessly dispatched the disciples, one after another, with sheer force and brutal efficiency. Its strikes were powerful, and its agility was unmatched. The disciples fought valiantly, but they were not able to match the strength of the ferocious creature that seemed to possess an otherworldly strength. The atmosphere was tense as the guide announced the commencement of the long-awaited demon event. The disciples, despite their determination, couldn't help but feel a sense of trepidation. The monsters they faced were unlike anything they had encountered before, physically imposing and cunningly intelligent. Then, Ruan Mi, a popular figure among the disciples of Feng Yang Daoyuan, stepped forward as the next challenger. Known for his exceptional archery skills, he unleashed a flurry of arrows towards the monster. However, even his impressive marksmanship proved futile against the creature's overwhelming might. The monster swiftly closed the distance, overpowering Ruan Mi with its brute strength, and left him defeated within a few rounds. As the battles raged on, the disciples' fighting spirit remained unyielding. Some displayed remarkable skills and resourcefulness, finding temporary advantages against the monsters. Others, unfortunately, suffered severe injuries in their attempts to subdue the ferocious beasts. The toll of the relentless fights was evident, both physically and emotionally. Then, Liu Qi-wei, a disciple hailing from Liyang Taoist Temple, emerged as a standout contender. With her unwavering determination and incredible strength, she engaged in a fierce battle with a magnificent cat monster. The clash was awe-inspiring, as Liu Qi-wei utilized his skills to evade the creature's strikes while strategically attacking its vulnerable spots. Eventually, through a display of sheer willpower and resilience, Liu Qi-wei emerged victorious, and her triumph was met with resounding applause. But in the face of the more brutal monster, the leopard demon, she was forced to jump off the ring. However, amidst the victories and defeats, a profound sadness settled over the event. Bai Fengqi, a great disciple admired for his talent and dedication, found himself in a dire situation. He faced a monstrous wolf-like creature that launched a devastating attack, severing his hand. The pain and anguish on Bai Fengqi's face were palpable as he realized the sacrifice he had made in pursuit of victory. Seeing Bai Fengqi, his grandfather had vehemently scolded him for shedding tears, reminding him that he had first-hand knowledge of the dangers involved in the fight. His grandfather also reminded him of the numerous family members who were skilled swordsmen with only one arm also. Finally, the time came for Meng Chuan to step into the ring. Qi Ping's father, harboring ill will towards Meng Chuan, felt a twisted sense of satisfaction as he anticipated the downfall of the young contender. His devious mind reveled in the prospect of witnessing Meng Chuan's defeat, convinced that this would be the end of his rival. The atmosphere grew heavy with anticipation as Meng Chuan faced his greatest challenge yet, a monstrous being named Sheep Demon. The creature towered over Meng Chuan, its presence exuding an aura of danger and power. Many spectators held their breath, curious to see how the seemingly unassuming Meng Chuan would fare against such a formidable opponent. Chi Che, however, couldn't bear to watch. Anxiety gnawed at her as she contemplated the risks and dangers her beloved Meng Chuan would face. She understood his gentle nature and feared that a momentary lapse in judgment or an act of compassion could lead to his downfall. In her mind, she pleaded for his safety, hoping that his innate goodness would not be a liability in this perilous encounter. In a moment of silence, the monster taunted Meng Chuan, issuing a warning that if he was afraid, he should leave the ring right now. It sought to unsettle Meng Chuan, to plant doubt within him. But instead of succumbing to fear, Meng Chuan's resolve only grew stronger. With unwavering determination, he confidently proclaimed that he would face the monster alone, undeterred by its intimidating presence. Spectators watched in awe as Meng Chuan prepared himself by tightening his grip around his sword. Though physically smaller than the monster, his spirit burned brightly with inner strength and resilience. Qi Ping's father, believing in Meng Chuan's imminent demise, reveled in the moment, goading the monster to strike down his rival. But Meng Chuan, fueled by a combination of courage and skill, met the monster head-on. His movements were swift and precise, and his strikes were calculated and deadly. In a display of astonishing prowess, he maneuvered around the beast, finding the perfect opportunity to deliver a decisive blow. With a single stroke of his sword, Meng Chuan struck true, cleaving the monster in half. Seeing this, a collective gasp followed by thunderous applause erupted from the onlookers. Meng Chuan stood victorious, his first kill etching a sense of triumph and empowerment deep within him. The exhilaration coursing through his veins was matched only by the relief that he had overcome such a formidable opponent. Seeing this, Chi Che's heart swelled with a mixture of pride and relief. Her faith in Meng Chuan's abilities had not been misplaced. While others may have underestimated him, she had always believed in his potential. In that moment, As she watched him bask in his well-deserved victory, her love for him grew stronger than ever. Then, the crowd erupted in astonishment and admiration as they witnessed Meng Chuan's remarkable display of power. The swift and precise slash that took down the formidable ship demon left everyone in awe. They couldn't help but marvel at his skill and natural talent. As the event continued, the disciples and spectators alike were left in awe of Meng Chuan's remarkable feat. The once doubtful whispers now transformed into whispers of admiration and respect. The disciples and onlookers couldn't contain their excitement and praises for Meng Chuan. They were impressed by his composure, strength, and the ease with which he dispatched the sheep demon. Many couldn't believe that it was his first time participating in such a challenging event. After the exhilarating battle, the staffs swiftly moved to clean up the field. They carefully removed the remnants of the ship demon and any other debris left behind, ensuring the area was safe and clear for the next round of participants. Among the spectators, Qi Ping's father stood there in shock. His anger and frustration were evident as he shouted in disbelief, expressing his discontent and deeming the ship demon's defeat as pointless. He couldn't comprehend how someone like Meng Chuan could achieve such success and outshine others. Despite the mixed reactions in the audience, Meng Chuan's performance had undoubtedly left a lasting impression on everyone present. Yuyang Palace's master was also surprised by Meng Chuan's skills and remarked to his friend Yuan Ji about Meng Chuan's impressive performance. He asked Yuan Ji what he thought of Meng Chuan. Yuan Ji, reflecting on Meng Chuan's abilities, responded by saying that his focus is not on competing with others, but on surpassing himself. Yuyang Palace's master, understanding Yuan Ji's viewpoint, nodded him in agreement. Suddenly, then, the next monster came on the field. That was Tiger Demon. The announcement of the Tiger Demon's arrival created a stir among the audience. People's attention shifted to the fearsome creature as it made its way onto the battlefield. The ringmaster emphasized that the Tiger Demon had been starved for a significant period, but its strength diminished to only 30%. These cautionary words were directed towards Meng Chuan, reminding him to be careful. Amidst the anticipation, the palace master addressed the Tiger Demon, informing him that if it managed to secure victory in 10 consecutive matches, he would be rewarded with a month's supply of food and wine before returning to its confinement. The promise of sustenance and indulgence added an extra layer of motivation to the Tiger Demon. Tiger Demon stated to the palace master that there were about 18 people around him, and even at the peak of his strength, they could easily kill him. He questioned why they found this little guy to be his opponent, remarking that he seemed really weak. Then, he declared that he wouldn't give him a chance to run away once the fight began, and that he was going to kill him. Meng Chuan, standing confidently, prepared himself mentally and physically to face this formidable opponent. He knew the risks involved, but was determined to give his best and surpass his own limits. The audience held their breath, waiting to witness the clash between Meng Chuan and the dangerous Tiger Demon. Then, the intense battle between Meng Chuan and the Tiger Demon unfolded on the stage. The demon, initially overconfident and underestimating Meng Chuan, swiftly attacked him with full force. However, Meng Chuan showed no signs of fear as he skillfully defended himself, swiftly evading the demon's strikes. Impressed by the Tiger Demon's speed and power, Meng Chuan acknowledged him. He realized that the demon's strength was twice as powerful as his own. Nevertheless, Meng Chuan remained determined, knowing that he had an advantage in close combat and the opportunity to exploit the enemy's short-range attacks. With his quick reflexes and strategic thinking, Meng Chuan seized the moment to counterattack. Utilizing his agility and exploiting the gaps in the demon's defense, he aimed to land a decisive blow. Both combatants clashed fiercely. Their movements were fluid and precise. As the battle raged on, the audience watched in awe at the display of skill and bravery. Meng Chuan's ability to dodge the demon's attacks and retaliate showcased his resilience and adaptability. Despite the odds stacked against him, Meng Chuan remained focused on finding a way to defeat the powerful Tiger Demon. The outcome of this fierce battle between Meng Chuan and the Tiger Demon remained uncertain, but Meng Chuan's determination and strategic thinking gave him a fighting chance. With the crowd holding their breath, the clash between these two formidable opponents continued, each vying for victory. The palace master noticed Meng Chuan's performance and was thoroughly impressed by him. He murmured to himself that ordinary disciples would typically feel nervous when fighting monsters for the first time and would usually use only 10% of their strength. However, Meng Chuan felt more excited instead. He believed that in the face of strong enemies, he was able to make calm judgments and perform at a high level. And suddenly, Meng Chuan smashed his sword on the leg of the tiger. The tiger was shocked that this little boy could hurt him. Observing this, Qi Ping's father became angry and shocked, wondering how Meng Chuan could defeat or even challenge the tiger demon. The other disciples were excited and cheering for Meng Chuan. Suddenly, the tiger grew angrier and directed its anger toward Meng Chuan. Meng Chuan quickly moved his sword against the tiger, resulting in a fierce clash between them. All the disciples were tense and scared for Meng Chuan. They were commenting on the fight, with some saying that the tiger demon had more wounds, but Meng Chuan still seemed better. Others warned Meng Chuan to be careful, stating that the tiger could hurt him. Qi Yue was tense for Meng Chuan and prayed that he shouldn't get hurt. While the disciples continued to comment on the fight, expressing their surprise at how Meng Chuan's power seemed stronger and more fearsome than before. They noted that despite the fierce battle, Meng Chuan remained remarkably calm and didn't give the tiger demon a chance to retaliate. On the other side, Qi Ping, upon witnessing Meng Chuan's fight, was surprised and thought to herself whether he was the same Meng Chuan she had known before. She noted his fierce temperament and relentless attacks and realized that she hadn't expected this side of him. She even contemplated breaking off her engagement. Amidst the battle, the tiger started bleeding as wounds covered its body, which annoyed the tiger further. The tiger then launched a powerful attack on Meng Chuan, and everyone was shocked by the forceful blow and the fire that accompanied it. They believed that no one could survive such an attack. Even the palace master was scared for Meng Chuan. At that moment, Meng Chuan suddenly realized that it was too late to stop the blow, and the only option left was to use his power to protect himself. He prepared himself to intervene at any moment during the fight. In his mind, he understood that the tiger was going to strike him with its arm, and he acknowledged that he couldn't do anything to match its speed or retreat. However, he reminded himself to stay calm and recalled the body-guarding sword technique he had practiced for years. Instead of attacking, he decided to focus on defending and used all his strength to evade the tiger's attack. As the tiger's mighty palm crashed the ground, a wave of fear washed over Meng Chuan's father. He anxiously wondered if his son had evaded the devastating blow unharmed or devised an escape plan. Meanwhile, Qi Ping's father reveled in the anticipation of witnessing Meng Chuan shattered into irreparable fragments, relishing the opportunity for revenge. However, to everyone's astonishment, including the onlookers surrounding the ring, Meng Chuan seemed to have disappeared from the very spot where the tiger's strike had landed. It became evident that once again, Meng Chuan had outwitted the imminent danger, leaving the tiger and the crowd dumbfounded. Seizing the moment, Meng Chuan swiftly leaped off the ring, evading any further potential harm. Seeing this, Qi Ping's father's anger intensified, berating Meng Chuan for his inability to continue the battle as he desperately desired the tiger demon's victory, hoping its lethal strike would claim Meng Chuan's life. In contrast, Meng Chuan's father beamed with pride, relieved that his son had skillfully dodged the onslaught. He praised Meng Chuan as a worthy and exceptional individual. Qi Yue, too, was filled with delight, reveling in Meng Chuan's exceptional combat prowess. Qi Ping's father's agitation escalated, pushing him closer to the brink of madness. As Meng Chuan exited the ring, his father and Qi Yue hurriedly approached him, concern etched across their faces. Meng Chuan's father anxiously inspected his son for injuries, relieved to find only a minor bruise that would heal in a matter of days. Whereas Qi Yue expressed her relief and admiration for his well-being, her voice tinged with a mix of emotions. The tiger demon, astonished by Meng Chuan's ability to evade his attacks and force him to reveal his hidden powers, felt a mix of anger and admiration. He couldn't comprehend how Meng Chuan remained calm and skillfully avoided his strikes. The tiger demon's body was wounded by Meng Chuan's tactics. Meng Chuan considered tiger demons sly and cruel. Meanwhile, the palace master was observing the unfolding battle with great interest. He noticed that many of the strong individuals present displayed high-level skills and tactics during their fights. He pondered the correlation between strength and various factors such as wisdom, mood, and other unknown elements. The master shared that achieving victory in battle required more than just physical prowess. It demanded a combination of different qualities. Amidst the intense atmosphere, the ringmaster called for the next combatant to step forward to face the tiger demon. To everyone's surprise, it was Yan Zhu who entered the ring. Yan Zhu, not being a disciple of the 8th Avenue Academy, garnered attention and curiosity from the spectators. As Yan Zhu faced the tiger demon, the beast didn't hesitate to launch a lethal attack, underestimating Yan Zhu's potential. Yan Zhu retaliated with equal ferocity, aiming to inflict serious injury upon his opponent. The onlookers were astounded by Yan Zhu's direct assault, applauding his swordsmanship and recognizing his skill to be on par with Meng Chuan's. They speculated that Yanju possessed a divine power from birth, as his strength alone would be sufficient to contend with the tiger demon. Yanju's unity in swordsmanship and his natural physique impressed the disciples present. His explosive power was estimated to be 80% of the tiger demon's, and his speed reached 70% of the beast's capabilities. With his double swordsmanship technique, Yanju's offensive prowess proved to be a formidable match for the tiger demon. Each head-to-head encounter weakened the tiger demon further, and Yanju's relentless attacks inflicted increasingly severe injuries. Witnessing Yanju's display of strength and skill, the crowd marveled at his potential. They liked him, acknowledging his rare talent and considering him to be a strong contender against the formidable tiger demon. Yanju launched a fierce attack on the tiger demon, aiming to deliver a fatal blow. Their clash sent shockwaves through the arena as they collided once again, and Yanju's sword inflicted further damage on the wounded beast. The audience and fellow disciples were astonished by Yanju's strength and determination, recognizing his ability to confront the tiger demon head-on. Whereas the tiger demon, overwhelmed by Yanju's force, was taken aback by the teenager's power. Meanwhile, the palace master had already foreseen Yanju's victory, deeming the match futile and concluding that Yanju would emerge triumphant. As the battle unfolded, Yanju successfully defeated the tiger demon, causing its lifeless body to collapse on the floor. The disciples erupted in cheers, expressing their awe at the fact that the tiger demon, who had failed to win 10 consecutive matches, was defeated in just 2 games by 2 teenagers whose cultivation levels had only reached the essence realm. Yanju stepped off the ring, descending the stairs, while the ringmaster called out to him, reminding him that as the winner, he could continue the fight. However, Yanju silently ignored the invitation and made his way towards Meng Chuan. Addressing Meng Chuan, Yanju acknowledged that without Meng Chuan's serious injury to the tiger demon would have been 30% more powerful, as the latent blood of the Demon King could have sustained it for a longer duration. He admitted that there wasn't much power left in the tiger demon after Meng Chuan fight with him. Yanju then proclaimed that he didn't need this victory. The other disciples viewed him as arrogant, as despite being called by the court officials, Yanju disregarded their presence and focused solely on conversing with Meng Chuan. Then, the ringmaster declared that the battles among the disciples of the 8th Avenue had come to an end. Meanwhile, Meng Chuan pondered the possibility of Yanju becoming his future formidable opponent, sensing his stubbornness and pride. The ringmaster then announced the commencement of the final battle to slay the demon, which would feature Mei Yuanji and the centipede demon. Mei Yuanji, being the first genesis of Dodging City, faced the overconfident centipede demon. The centipede demon taunted Mei Yuanji, belittling him as a mere little guy while sensing his vibrant vitality. The chief of the Yun family, observing the situation, claimed that Yuyang Palace was well acquainted with Mei Yuanzhi and had specially arranged a Ningdan demon for him to battle. Listening to him, Qi Ping's father politely inquired whether the chief believed Mei Yuanzhi had a chance to enter Yuanchu Mountain. He expressed concern that if Mei Yuanzhi were to enter the mountain, it might overwhelm their Yun family. In response, the chief rudely dismissed the notion, stating that entering Yuanchu Mountain was not an easy feat. Even their father's greatest regret was failing to do so. He further explained him that in the great Zhou dynasty of 23 states, only 20 palaces existed for entering Yuanchu Mountain, and the heirs of powerful clans and demons from all over aspired to enter the Yuanchu Mountain. Whereas, for a genius born as a commoner, it was even more challenging to enter Yuanchu Mountain. Qi Ping's father then brought up Meng Chuan, wondering about his chances. The chief responded by mentioning that Meng Xianggu, the 3rd elder, would attempt to assist Meng Chuan. Listening this, Qi Ping with an angry expression interjected by saying that Meng Xianggu had not yet entered Yuanchu Mountain by herself. She further expressed disappointment, stating that they should not bother about Meng Chuan as they had no connection with Meng family. Listening to her, Qi Ping's father got happy and smiled sinisterly with an evil glint in his eyes and whispered to himself that indeed Meng Xianggu had not entered Yuanchu Mountain yet, and Meng Chuan would have realized the secret skill by luck. He dismissed the idea of Meng Chuan entering Yuanchu Mountain, satisfying himself by thinking there was no reason to fear from Meng Chuan. Meanwhile, in the intense battle between Mei Yuanji and the centipede demon, the demon taunted Mei Yuanji, challenging him and questioning if he was afraid. The centipede demon dismissed Mei Yuanji's ice potential, believing it wouldn't take long to defeat him. Undeterred, Mei Yuanji charged toward the monster with the determination to kill him. Using his speed, Mei Yuanji created duplicates of himself, encircling the monster. However, the monster quickly identified the real Mei Yuanji among the many duplicates, and with a swift motion, the monster reached out to grab Mei Yuanji, intending to crush him. But Mei Yuanji evaded the attack by swiftly disappearing from that area. Taking advantage of the monster's momentary confusion, Mei Yuanji unleashed a powerful strike with his sword, aiming directly at the monster. He then followed up with a forceful punch to the monster's chest. The monster realized that Mei Yuanji had deliberately used the 7 spotlights to confuse him, and this realization filled him with anger. The monster expressed its anger towards humans, considering them deceitful and sinister. Its anger intensified. Mei Yuanji harbored a strong desire to kill the centipede demon. The monster challenged Mei Yuanji, asking if he wanted him to die. However, the monster had a hidden agenda. Its true intention was to harm all the other disciples with its full force, going against the rules of engagement. The disciples screamed in fear, realizing the danger they were in. Yun Master quickly ordered the disciples to retreat, ensuring their safety. Seeing this, the master of the Yuyang Palace took action and struck back at the monster, throwing it back into the field and saving the other disciples from harm. Meanwhile, Meng Chuan rushed towards Qi Yue, concerned for her well-being. Expressing his frustration, Meng Chuan realized that the monster's true purpose was to attack the disciples around him. Fortunately, the palace master displayed incredible strength and control over the situation. Seeing this, Meng Chuan was amazed by the master's power and wished to possess such strength one day. The centipede demon, shocked and defiant, told the palace master that he was so far, it was impossible for him to stop him. The master responded calmly, asserting that nothing is impossible. Then, the centipede demon exclaimed to the master that he can't stop him from crushing them, boasting about his desire to kill and conquer. The centipede demon mocked the master, questioning whether the human race wanted the demon to hone their young genesis. But he boasted about his desire to kill and claimed that the more he killed, the better it would be. Upon hearing these words, the palace master understood the gravity of the situation. The demon further declared its plans for world domination, asserting that all human plans would eventually crumble under its demon plan. Hearing this, the palace master deemed it appropriate to eliminate the monster, recognizing the threat it posed. Then, with a powerful strike, the master shattered the monster into various pieces. Witnessing the master's incredible power, Meng Chuan was astonished. The display of strength by the palace master left everyone shocked. The monster's desperate attack was instantly disintegrated, as it was bound by countless invisible silk threads, turning into a bloody rain. The disciples exclaimed in awe, praising the amazing power and display of the palace master's abilities. Then, the ringmaster addressed the disciples and reassured them that the previous encounter with the centipede demon was just a minor accident. The disciples were shocked to hear his casual description of the event. As for them, it had been a terrifying experience. The palace master, however, emphasized that such demons should not be taken lightly and urged the disciples to practice harder in order to protect themselves in the future. As the disciples processed the information, Qi Yue expressed her admiration for the palace master's strength and congratulated him on his victory. Meng Chuan, on the other hand, seemed lost in his thoughts. He pondered when he would reach such levels of power and become a demon god like the palace master. Curious about Qi Yue's excitement despite the danger she had faced during the battle, Meng Chuan asked her why she was still so enthusiastic. Qi Yue responded by highlighting the strength and prowess of the palace master, expressing her admiration for him. She questioned if Meng Chuan even cared about her praise for the palace master. Caught off guard, Meng Chuan struggled to find an answer and muttered dismissively, "Who cares?" Perhaps he was feeling overshadowed by the palace master's immense power and unsure of his own path. The conversation left him contemplating his own ambitions and the challenges he would have to overcome to reach his goals. In the evening, as everyone returned home, Meng Chuan was in the courtyard of the Meng house. Suddenly, a swift figure appeared in front of him, and Meng Chuan recognized it to be his dean. He expressed his awe at the dean's formidable swordsmanship, feeling as if the sky had darkened in its presence. The dean took a seat, and Meng Chuan welcomed him. Meng Chuan couldn't help but express his admiration for the dean's self-made sword technique and asked if he could teach it to him. With a chuckle, the dean replied that the sword technique was not suitable for Meng Chuan and advised him to continue practicing the falling leaves sword technique, which was created by the demon god of the early Yuan dynasty. The dean then quenched his thirst by drinking a pot of water. Then, Dean advised Meng Chuan that the key to realizing the sword technique was to practice diligently and wholeheartedly. The dean emphasized the importance of self-reliance, expressing that Meng Chuan should not solely depend on others or seek shortcuts in his journey. Looking at Meng Chuan, the dean asked if he knew why he wanted him to become a demon god. Meng Chuan confidently replied, stating his belief that the dean desired for him to become a demon god in order to set an example for his younger siblings. The dean, however, responded with a light tone, stating that Meng Chuan was overthinking. He revealed that his true intention for wanting Meng Chuan to become a demon god was so that he could go out and brag about it. Meng Chuan was surprised by the dean's response. The next day in the Meng house, Meng Chuan's father approached him and informed him as now that the Demon Beast event was over and Meng Chuan had realized his secret skill, they would be visiting Meng Chuan's elder grandmother, Meng Xianggum, that day. Meng Chuan's father cautioned him to be mindful of his words and actions, as his grandmother was strict and particular, and he also emphasized the importance of learning valuable lessons from her, despite of her pickiness. Meng Chuan agreed and acknowledged his grandmother's position, as she was the second demon god in the history of the Meng family. He assured his father that he would be careful. Then they arrived together at the ancestral garden where Meng Xianggu waited for their arrival. Meng Xianggu expressed her delight upon seeing Meng Chuan and his father. Meng Chuan's father instructed him to greet his grandmother, and Meng Chuan respectfully bowed his head to the floor as a sign of respect and greeted her. Seeing this, Meng Xianggu assured Meng Chuan that he didn't have to be so formal and urged him to come closer so she could see him clearly. Nervous but obliged, Meng Chuan approached her. To his surprise, Meng Xianggu embraced him tightly and expressed her joy, calling him cute and a good boy. Meng Chuan's father was taken aback by this display of affection, as he had expected Meng Xianggu to be strict with Meng Chuan. Meng Xianggu then proceeded to give Meng Chuan instructions, stating that he should be able to achieve the completeness of the Essence Realm within 2 or 3 months. Meng Chuan was astonished by this proclamation, realizing that his grandmother had a different demeanor than he had anticipated. Seeing her gentle nature, he couldn't help but think that she must have been a beautiful woman in her younger times. He expressed his gratitude to Meng Xianggu for her kind and loving nature. Then, in a hushed voice, Meng Chuan whispered to his father, questioning if Meng Xianggu was still the same strict grandmother he had been warned about. Meng Chuan's father, equally surprised, responded him that he wasn't sure either. Meng Chuan then responded, adding that Meng Xianggu was his aunt, and he should be the one to know. Then, Meng Xianggu continued her instructions to Meng Chuan, explaining that from the foundation to the essence realm, his physical cultivation is almost complete. However, when one enters the rebirth realm, it is necessary to remove all impurities from the body and cultivate the demon god body to attain the power of a demon god. She emphasized the importance of this step, stating that with enough resources, one can establish a strong foundation for becoming a demon god. She then promised Meng Chuan that she will hand over him a drop of demon jade liquid. Meng Chuan was taken aback by Meng Xianggu's words, particularly when she mentioned the foundation for demon god. He couldn't help but feel surprised and unsure about accepting such a significant gift from his grandmother. He was not certain if he can become a demon god. His grandmother is actually so determined to use such resources on him, whereas he was unsure that should he accept this gift. Meng Xianggu then informed Meng Chuan about her own condition, revealing that she had suffered a serious injury during battle. She explained that she only had another 7 or 8 years left to live and couldn't afford to wait too long. She urged Meng Chuan to cultivate with all his strength, as time was of the essence. Meng Chuan was shocked by this revelation, realizing that despite being the pride of the family, his grandmother had a limited time left to live. Meng Xianggu revealed to Meng Chuan that she not only will give him a drop of demon jade liquid, but also 80 years' worth of accumulated merit from Mountain as Long. She explained that if he could realize the sword's secret before the age of 20, all of it would be his. However, Meng Chuan's father strongly disagreed with Meng Xianggu, arguing that the merits were her own accumulation over the years, and that it was not appropriate for a child to accept them. Undeterred, Meng Xianggu turned to Meng Chuan and expressed her hopes that he could carry the burden and responsibility of the family's prosperity. In that moment, Meng Chuan felt a mixture of pride and responsibility. He agreed to accept the challenge, acknowledging that while he wasn't certain if he could become a demon god, he would do everything in his power to try. Meng Xianggu was satisfied with Meng Chuan's response and commended him for his determination. Meng Chuan's father then reminded Meng Xianggu about the big test she had mentioned earlier. Replying to him, Meng Xianggu clarified that this conversation itself was the test, as she had placed many responsibilities and expectations on Meng Chuan's shoulders and wanted to see how he would handle it. Meng Chuan's father questioned the nature of the test, but Meng Xianggu firmly asserted that she was not mistaken about Meng Chuan's strong heart. After Meng Xianggu and Meng Chuan's father left the garden, Meng Chuan contemplated the significance of the demon jade drop and the immense pressure he felt. He realized that such a precious gift was rarely obtained, even by the most talented teenagers from ancient divine and demon families. Determined not to disappoint his family's hopes, Meng Chuan resolved to work even harder. The next day, Meng Chuan and his grandmother stood together, engaged in a discussion. His grandmother asked Meng Chuan if he had any confusion in his practice and assured him that he could ask her for guidance. Meng Chuan expressed his confusion and admitted being quite uncertain. His grandmother, sensing his thoughts, smiled and mentioned that she guessed he wanted to know how to reach the next level of swordsmanship. Meng Chuan was taken aback, confirmed her assumption, and acknowledged her insight, stating that she was worthy of being an elder grandmother for already knowing his needs. Meng Chuan continued by sharing that he had once asked the dean of the Taoist Academy about reaching the next level. The dean had mentioned to him that he had created his own sword technique and realized it. In response, Meng Chuan's grandmother acknowledged that it was indeed one method and asked Meng Chuan's father to tell her about his own approach. Meng Chuan's father, with a smile, interjected and attributed the credit of realizing his secret skill to Meng Chuan's mother. This left Meng Chuan in a state of confusion as he questioned his mother's involvement. His father went on to explain that during his 10 years of military service, where he primarily practiced the three-stroke swordsmanship and fought monsters, he happened to encounter a woman engaged in combat with a monster. He recalled how, driven by strength and instinct, he had rushed forward without hesitation and effortlessly engaged the monster with his sword. It was during this encounter, their first meet, where he realized the secret of his own sword technique. He found the coincidence to be remarkable, forever ingrained in his memory. Listening to the story, Meng Chuan's grandmother wore a smile. Meng Chuan then inquired about Deng Feng, referencing his biography as a demon god who practiced alone in the mountains. Further, he mentioned how Deng Feng would draw his sword 10,000 times a day for 20 years, but upon emerging from the mountain, he ended up killing innocent people. Meng Chuan wondered if Deng Feng's method was the only way, considering the consequences of his actions. Replying to Meng Chuan, Meng Xianggu cautioned him, expressing concern about directing someone towards such a path. She proceeded to share her own experience, recalling her interaction with the king, whose strength equaled that of Deng Feng. She relayed the king's advice to Meng Chuan, instructing him to trust his instincts during his practice and follow the direction his heart desired the most. She assured him that when he will look back decades later, he would see how he had surpassed himself. Meng Chuan attentively absorbed his grandmother's guidance and responded, assuring her that he would remember her words. After receiving guidance from the elders and contemplating their words, Meng Chuan had a realization in the martial arts field. While he was revising the note that he had made through the Demon's God biographies, he discovered a connection between the 4th and 9th points of the 9 ideals. After reading the Demon God biographies and taking advices from his grandmother, he acknowledged that following his intuition and pursuing the path he desired the most would allow him to experience greater enjoyment. He believed that his dedication would deepen with such practice, which will result in increasing his chances of becoming a master. While lost in his thoughts, Meng Chuan suddenly faced an attack from behind in the form of an arrow. His reflexes kicked in, and he swiftly deflected the arrow with a precise slash. Recognizing the importance of self-defense, he reflected on the need to develop 3 essential skills that were killing the enemy, defending oneself, and escaping with one's life. Meng Chuan realized that the guards appointed by his grandmother had intentionally released the arrow to provoke him for practicing. Fueled by determination, he decided to practice the sword-drawing style every day. He began his training, facing the incoming arrows and skillfully smashing them away with his sword. After mastering the sword-drawing technique, he moved on to additional exercises that focused on body style and body protection with the sword. As he trained, the ground beneath him transformed into a metaphorical mountain, and the wind and rain symbolized the driving force of his progress. Meng Chuan understood that by making incremental progress each day, he would ultimately achieve great success. He then embarked on the second cultivation method of the day, which involved body conditioning and body protection. He learned that embracing fatigue and persevering through it was essential in unifying his body and mind. Despite feeling that his current practice was not enough, Meng Chuan acknowledged the need for repetition and continuous improvement. He resolved to practice again and again, striving to push his limits and strengthen both his body and mind. At night, in the courtyard, Meng Chuan changed into his training attire and continued practicing relentlessly. In his mind, he aimed to unleash the true potential within his body and push his meridians to their limits. Then, he engaged in continuous practice, honing his skills. Later, during his medicinal bath, Uncle Qian approached Meng Chuan and informed him about the shortage of sauce used for lotus fish meals in the restaurant. Uncle Qian told him that he had to go out and buy it. Replying to Uncle Qian, Meng Chuan assures him to take care of himself and not overexert himself. As Meng Chuan bathed, he pondered his desire to become stronger and reassured himself that he would work even harder to become a demon god. Later, at night, on the outskirts of Ufone City, Liu Yabai from the Liu family approached Meng Chuan's father. Liu Yabai was none other than Qi Yue's father and Meng Daizhang's good friend. He questioned why Meng Chuan's father had left Meng Chuan alone at home. Meng Chuan's father, filled with confidence, replied that when it came to training, no one in the entire Dongning city worked harder than his son. However, as Meng Chuan's father started coughing continuously, Liu Yabai expressed concern for his health. All of a sudden, Liu Yabai noticed blood in Meng Chuan's father's hand as he coughed, indicating a serious condition. Then, giving his assistance, Liu Yabai questioned the worthiness of exchanging all the credit with an ice heart fruit for building his son's demon god foundation. Meng Chuan's father, valuing his son's development, replied that his greatest pride in life was his son, and it was worth sacrificing everything for his son's foundation as a demon god. After that, Liu Yabai suggested that Meng Chuan's father should seek treatment upon entering the city, offering his assistance. Upon entering Liu Yabai's house, a wealthy businessman, Meng Chuan's father began eating voraciously, without paying attention to his surroundings. Liu Yabai was astonished by his enormous appetite and commented on his eating capacity. Meng Chuan's father explained that he needed to eat in order to recover, and he further requested to get more food. After spending 5 to 6 days in Liu Yabai mansion, Liu Yabai jokingly stated that Meng Chuan's father could become stronger just by eating. Replying to him, Meng Chuan's father told him that now he is feeling more energetic. Liu Yabai remarked that he was simply gaining weight and assured him that his son wouldn't dislike him. However, Meng Chuan's father expressed concerns about setting a bad example for Meng Chuan and the possibility of his son becoming a fat demon god in the future. This comment upset Liu Yabai, who exclaimed that it was enough and told Meng Chuan's father to return home. After a few days, Liu Yabai and Meng Chuan's father arrived back home, and Qi Yue was overjoyed to see her father. Then, Liu Yabai commented on Qi Yue's height, teasingly saying that she would soon surpass him in height. Meng Chuan was also delighted to see Uncle Liu Yabai. Then, all of a sudden, Meng Chuan's father happily announced that the fish he was holding had been dried and ground. He further stressed the significance of resting, highlighting how crucial it was for their business. Meng Chuan, with a blank expression on his face, contemplated silently about his father's evident strength, yet he also held a deep admiration for his father's unwavering dedication to the restaurant business. Then they all went to have lunch together. On the night of May 11th, after completing the blood-washing process, Meng Chuan achieved the complete essence cleansing realm. The next day, he returned to his ancestral home and reported his progress to his grandmother, Meng Xianggu. Meng Xianggu asked if he had reached the complete essence cleansing realm, and upon confirmation, Meng Xianggu mentioned that she would give Meng Chuan the demon jade liquid that day. Meng Xianggu then further asked if Meng Chuan was ready to train his body for becoming a demon god. She emphasized the importance of choosing the type of demon body, as it could not be changed once the practice began. Meng Chuan expressed his preference for the Thunder Demon God's body, citing its speed and strength compared to the other 16 Demon God's body. Meng Xianggu acknowledged Meng Chuan's decision, commenting on the strong combination. Further, she praised Meng Chuan for his mature thinking despite his young age and warned him against mediocrity, stating that becoming mediocre would lead to death at the hands of enemies. Meng Xianggu explained that while the Thunder God's body was powerful, Meng Chuan needed to be prepared for the challenges it brought, such as the proliferation of thunder and lightning during the cultivation process. She also stressed the importance of having a strong foundation to withstand these challenges. Meng Xianggu further mentioned that Meng Chuan could choose a weaker Thunder God body, but Meng Chuan thought to himself that he could only learn from the strongest body. He believed that his goals needed to be high enough, as without the determination to become the strongest, he would not have the spirit to achieve greatness. That night, outside the courtyard, Meng Chuan's father also approached him and informed him that finally his elder grandmother had given him the demon jade liquid. Meng Chuan held the jade liquid nervously, and his father reassured him, emphasizing that he was the last hope of their family. Extending his hand, Meng Chuan's father offered to help him, guiding him to the secret room at Mirror Lake. Inside the secret room, Meng Chuan was taken aback by the sight of the three treasures. His father explained that the first treasure was the ice heart fruit, followed by the demon jade liquid, and the most precious of all, the star spirit grass. He elaborated that the ice heart fruit was more valuable than the demon jade liquid and could be consumed on the first day of practicing for the demon god body. Further explaining, the demon jade liquid could be taken on the third day, while he informed that the star spirit grass held the greatest value. He further told Meng Chuan from that night Meng Chuan should come in the secret room to practice for demon god. Meng Chuan then expressed his astonishment and appreciation for the treasures, particularly for the star spirit grass. His father confirmed its exceptional worth, stating that star spirit grass was several times more valuable than the demon jade liquid. When Meng Chuan asked where it came from, his father replied cryptically, saying that he would reveal the truth when the time was right. Then he urged Meng Chuan to only focus on what he needed to do to make himself stronger. Agreeing with his father, Meng Chuan prepared to practice in the secret room every night. Meanwhile, that night, after holding the three treasures to Meng Chuan's father in the room looked at a portrait of Meng Chuan's mother and spoke to her, mentioning that he had given Meng Chuan the star spirit grass that she had left behind. He expressed confidence in their child, believing that Meng Chuan had the potential to become a demon god, and reassured her that he knew their child well, describing Meng Chuan as obedient. The next day, Meng Chuan entered the secret room, filled with anticipation. He contemplated how his cultivation would bring about the transformation of his body into the thunder god's body, allowing the true qi to flow within his dantian and reach the 182 points, which were the core of his thunder body. He held the ice heart fruit given by his father, acknowledging its rarity and value. Determined, he decided to consume it on the first day of cultivation. As Meng Chuan swallowed the ice heart fruit, he immediately sensed a surge of energy coursing through his body. In an instant, his bones, muscles, and organs absorbed this energy, accelerating the speed of his body's transformation. Filled with excitement, he knew it was time to consume the next treasure, spirit grass, which was the most precious item. Meng Chuan recognized that both treasures must have come at a great cost, although he wasn't aware of how his father had obtained them. With utmost care, he slowly chewed the spirit grass, making sure not to waste even the tiniest bit. Suddenly, he felt an intense surge of energy, as if a storm had been unleashed within him. Overwhelmed by the power of these treasures, Meng Chuan marveled at their profound effects. He realized that even the smallest component of these treasures could possess such tremendous power. His entire body was enveloped in a surge of energy, and the speed of his body's transformation was beyond his expectations. This warm sensation he felt was reminiscent of the love and comfort he experienced when he saw his mother. In that moment, flashes of light and thunder seemed to dance around him as these treasures catalyzed a profound change within him. Meng Chuan was in awe of the incredible transformation taking place within his body, brought about by the invaluable assistance of these treasures. A month passed, and Meng Chuan could feel a surge of energy coursing through his body. He remarked to himself that the star spirit grass had been fully absorbed. Despite being in the early stage of reborn, his body and qi energy could already rival the protection of a rebellious stage cultivator. Seeing Meng Chuan, Uncle Qian advised him to enjoy a feast of watermelon and take some rest. But then, all of a sudden, the third elder, the strictest elder, called out to Meng Chuan. The atmosphere shifted as the strictest elder, who evoked fear in everyone, turned his gaze towards Meng Chuan. Meng Chuan's father inquired if the elder had any concerns with Meng Chuan. Meng Chuan respectfully greeted the elder, who then handed him a demon god inheritance. Meng Chuan's father was stunned by this revelation. He exclaimed that it was a true demon god inheritance, known to be incredibly powerful and acquired at a great cost. He further explained that most demon gods, including their ancestors, were not qualified to possess such an inheritance. Meng Chuan carefully read through the contents, while his father expressed concern about giving such a precious and valuable inheritance to Meng Chuan. However, the elder rebuked Meng Chuan's father, dismissing his objections. The elder assured Meng Chuan that he had stumbled upon this inheritance in his youth and promised Meng Chuan to bring more valuable treasures in the future. Overwhelmed with emotions, the elder handed the inheritance to Meng Chuan. After that, hiding to everyone, he started shedding tears and urged Meng Chuan to fight hard and not let them down, expressing deep pride and sentimentality. Meng Chuan felt a mix of gratitude, responsibility, and determination. This fueled his resolve to make the most of the demon god's inheritance and live up to their expectations. Meanwhile, his father was eager to take a look at the demon god inheritance that Meng Chuan had received. As he examined the contents, he was surprised to find a powerful technique like Shake the Moon within the inheritance. Meng Chuan stated to his father that this sword technique, Shake the Moon, was exceptionally powerful. Meng Chuan further explained that this sword technique appeared gentle and beautiful on the surface, but in reality, it possessed a cruel and ruthless nature. Meng Chuan acknowledged that before he could become a true demon god, he needed to fully embrace and master this inheritance, going through the process of accepting it 9 times. Meng Chuan's determination and willingness to face the challenges posed by the inheritance impressed his father. He understood that this journey would not be an easy one, but he believed in Meng Chuan's potential and strength. On the other hand, in the secret hall of Yuyang Palace, one of the staff members approached Yanju and reminded him that he had been practicing for 2 hours and should come out of the cloud pool. Yanju, who had reached the middle of the rebirth realm, responded that he would now practice in the pool for 3 hours each day. Listening to him, the master advised Yanju not to push himself too hard, but Yanju insisted on continuing his training by replying to the master that he can never lose a fight with Meng Chuan. This all was happening because, in the 12th lunar month, the talented Mei Yuanji failed to enter Yuanshan Mountain and had to go to Qinyangguan Mountain for military service. This incident motivated all the young practitioners in Dongning to work even harder. Meanwhile, Meng Chuan and Yanju, considered the representatives of a group of hard-working teenagers, faced increasing pressure due to the matter involving Mei Yuanzhi. The next day, Meng Chuan visited the academy to meet the dean, as he would visit the dean for guidance every 2 weeks during the transition from winter to spring. Although he sometimes appeared nonchalant, he was attentive to the dean's teachings. Seeing Meng Chuan's dedication, the other disciples became excited and looked up to him as a prestigious master. Meng Chuan often instructed his younger brothers and sisters, and he had become a highly respected figure in the temple. On this particular day, it was time for Brother Meng Chuan to provide guidance to everyone. After taking guidance from the dean, Meng Chuan practiced with the other disciples, and Zhou Qian, disciple of the Taoist temple, engaged in a fight with him. After getting tired, Zhuo Qian admitted defeat from Meng Chuan, unable to even touch Meng Chuan's clothes with his sword, while the others praised Meng Chuan's skills, acknowledging his potential to become a demon god. Then, Zhou Qian approached Meng Chuan, asking for advice. This surprised everyone as they recognized Zhou Qian as a talented individual and had not expected that he would also take advice from Meng Chuan. They speculated that next year would be their chance to enter the event Showa Mountain, an important event. Meng Chuan then advised Zhou Qian on his technique, pointing out the flaws in his killing moves and suggesting more practice in that area. Zhou Qian was grateful for the guidance and thanked Meng Chuan. The other disciples were shocked and excited, realizing that Zhou Qian had received instruction from Brother Meng Chuan before entering the mountain, and they considered Zhou Qian fortunate for receiving guidance from Meng Chuan. The gossip spread among them, expressing their admiration for Zhou Qian's luck and Meng Chuan's prowess. Out of nowhere, Qi Yue made an unexpected request to Meng Chuan, asking him to congratulate her with excitement. Perplexed, Meng Chuan couldn't help but wonder why he should extend his congratulations. Qi Yue eagerly revealed that she had successfully entered the realm of rebirth and contended that it deserved a round of applause. Meng Chuan, still puzzled, scratched his head and responded that he had already congratulated her 2 days ago. Undeterred, Qi Yue persisted, mentioning that her archery skills had not seen a remarkable improvement. Encouragingly, Meng Chuan reassured her that attaining unity is no easy feat, and advised her not to let setbacks dampen her spirits. Qi Yue's face lit up as she exclaimed that she was sure a delightful meal could easily lift her mood. Wholeheartedly agreeing, Meng Chuan recollected their previous bet, where Meng Chuan challenged Qi Yue to shoot 100 arrows at him, promising that if she managed to strike him once, he would treat her to a splendid dinner. Although Meng Chuan skillfully evaded her arrows until the 80th shot, he gleefully honored their agreement. With joyful smiles, they set off together to savor a well-deserved meal. Meanwhile, unknown to Meng Chuan, Zhou Qian had been observing his journey for a quiet while, deeply inspired by Meng Chuan's unwavering determination. Zhou Qian was thinking about Meng Chuan, that how had he ventured into the Middle Lake Temple at the tender age of 13. Now, Zhou Qian himself aspired to enter the Mirror Lake Temple once he reached the age of 15. Lost in contemplation, he made his way back home where the welcoming household greeted him warmly. Noticing Zhou Qian's buoyant disposition, the staff couldn't help but inquired about the reason behind his happiness. Zhou Qian joyfully explained that he had received some invaluable guidance from brother Meng Chuan. Suddenly, a distressed young boy raced towards Zhou Qian, tears streaming down his face, desperately seeking assistance. Concerned, Zhou Qian asked what seemed to be the matter. The guard interjected, shouting at the young boy, insisting he stop uttering nonsense and leave. Despite the guard's stern warning, the child continued to weep, revealing that his sister had been abducted by the notorious Black Wolf Gang due to their father's outstanding debts. Fearful of repercussions, the boy implored Zhou Qian to save her. Taken aback by this revelation, Zhou Qian made a firm commitment to rescue the boy's sister as she was also his maid. However, Zhou Qian's father intervened, cautioning him to refrain from taking action. He divulged that the Black Wolf Gang operated under the powerful influence of the demon god family, Baijia. He further explained that the gang served as mere pawns for the Baijia family and emphasized that they, as humble merchants, would be crushed like ants in their path. Zhou Qian then tried to explain to his father, but his father refused to listen, stating that he couldn't destroy his family for the sake of a maid. His father warned him that if he dared to go against his orders, he would break his legs. Listening to his father, Zhou Qian understood his father's concern for the family's reputation and stability. But he couldn't ignore the overwhelming sense of responsibility he felt towards the maid who was now in danger. A whirlwind of conflicting thoughts and emotions consumed Zhou Qian's mind. On one hand, he couldn't ignore the potential consequences of defying his father's orders. On the other hand, his empathy for the maid tugged at his conscience, urging him to find a way to help her. He realized that he needed to devise a plan that would allow him to assist the maid while keeping his actions hidden from his father's watchful eyes. In that moment, an idea struck him, and in the cover of darkness, Zhou Qian stealthily crept through the halls of his family's grand residence, his heart pounding in his chest. He knew that the back door offered him the best chance to slip away unnoticed. Finally reaching the secluded exit, he carefully opened it, ensuring that no creaking sound would give away his departure. There, waiting for him, was the young boy who had tearfully pleaded for help. Zhou Qian's eyes met the boy's, silently reassuring him that he was not alone in this battle. In a hushed voice, Zhou Qian instructed the boy to remain quiet and trust in his plan. There, he instructed the boy to be quiet and told him to go to Yun Restaurant. The boy questioned Zhou Qian's motives, asking why he wanted him to go there. Zhou Qian then explained that he was trying to save his sister and that there was someone he knew who wasn't afraid of the Black Wolf Gang. Zhou Qian further explained that, for that person, rescuing the boy's sister was a manageable task, and Zhou Qian was referring to Meng Chuan. The boy, although filled with apprehension, could see the determination in Zhou Qian's eyes and nodded in reluctant agreement. Meanwhile, at Yun Restaurant in Dongjining City, a magnificent and luxurious establishment where local dignitaries and wealthy merchants often held banquets, two disciples were engaged in a conversation. One expressed admiration for brother Meng Chuan's way with girls, noting that it was no surprise everyone was invited to the restaurant. The other disciple responded, stating that not everyone could afford to dine there. Inside the restaurant, Qi Yue was delightedly enjoying her food, expressing that it was more delicious than any other restaurant she had tried. She playfully remarked while eating chicken that the chicken itself was made for her. Meng Chuan assured her that no one would take it away from her. He jokingly asked how she managed to stay slim despite eating so much. As they dined at the restaurant, Yanju, accompanied by his staff, happened to be present there. Yanju pointed towards Meng Chuan, recognizing him as the individual from the demonizing event. Meng Chuan greeted Yanju, but to his dismay, Yanju callously ignored him. Angry and perplexed, Qi Yue expressed her frustration at Yanju's rude behavior, remarking on his unpleasant demeanor. Nonetheless, she ordered an additional chicken plate, trying to ease the tension. Meng Chuan silently agreed, understanding Qi Yue's attempt to defuse the situation. While Qi Yue was engrossed in placing their food order, Meng Chuan caught wind of a voice in the vicinity. It spoke of someone seeking Meng Chuan's presence, yet being obstructed by the guards of the restaurant. Qi Yue then informed Meng Chuan about the mysterious caller, prompting them to investigate further. They soon discovered that guards were preventing a young boy from meeting Meng Chuan. Desperate and with tears in his eyes, the boy pleaded for Meng Chuan's help, explaining that his sister, who worked as a maid in a prominent household, had been abducted upon her return home by a group of ruthless individuals affiliated with the notorious Black Wolf gang. Disturbed by the boy's plight, Meng Chuan assured him that he would intervene and asked for more details. Introducing himself as Jil, the boy shared the backstory behind his sister's capture. He revealed that their father had borrowed a mere 12 silver coins, but the Black Wolf gang had deceitfully inflated the debt to a staggering 102 coins, exploiting his father's drunken state. With exorbitant interest added, the debt had skyrocketed to 302 coins. Unable to pay such an exorbitant sum, the gang had resorted to taking Jil's sister hostage. Meng Chuan inquired whether his father had signed a deed of sale, hoping to gather more information about their predicament. However, Jil confirmed that his father had staunchly refused to sign any such document. Suddenly then, Yanju interjected with a callous remark, urging them not to waste time and warning them that Jil's sister's life was at stake. Recognizing the urgency of the situation, Yanju vowed to rescue Jil's sister. 20,000 likes and 5,000 new subscribers to start working on the next parts.